That's me. Heavy breathing.
Over the budget.
Do I need my mallet? Okay, the agenda for tonight, what we're going to do is go over a few of the sticky issues that we had last night, which is probably 3 or 4. And then we'll be taking final votes on the total budget. And we'll take an intermission at about 9:30 for Laura's cigarette break.
And that's on tape. Thanks, Dave. Everyone needs to know that.
Everyone needs to know that. I'm sorry, I
That's right, no
I
kvetching.
wasn't supposed to use names.
Thou shalt not.
We'll be
11th
taking a break at
commandment.
9:30. And the discussion tonight will be very short because we have a lot of work to do. And not a lot of time to do it in. Joe?
Move the question.
What question?
Okay, first one, we're going to jump to, Joe, which one is yours? The water?
Hydrants.
All right, look at the page.
14, 15?
The after police.
You're gonna have to speak up there.
You're gonna have to keep reminding us.
Page 15.
Hydrants on 13? Hydrants,
Hydrants on.
Hydrants are on page 15.
Joe has to recuse himself.
He has to recuse himself.
Yeah, I recuse myself from this discussion.
Okay. On hydrant services, we have 750 and 750 for a total of 1,500. Would someone like to make a
I'll
motion?
move 15.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye,
this
aye.
is a provisional vote,
These are fine.
These are final votes.
final vote.
Did Josh get the vote?
Yeah, it was unanimous, and Joe.
Alex, we just need my second, so. Who's the second, Jim?
No, Laura
Laura.
seconded
Okay.
that.
There's someone over there. Okay.
That one's done. Next one we had is town council.
Do you want to just do,
Yeah, it's on.
can we just take a final vote on the personal services and then deal with the remainder because I think we did have, unless you want to deal with future needs now.
Did we change the numbers for gas and oil and all?
No, we haven't done that yet. Do you want to do that?
No.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes,
Gas and oil?
gas and oil. Gas and oil is on all different pages.
Would it be possible to refer to the proposed changes that Laura put
Yeah.
together?
The ones from last night.
Will you entertain a motion to use her numbers for fire, police, DPW, and landfill, or do you want them separate?
I think we could take them all together.
I'll move 72,000. This is a final vote. 72,000 be recommended to the electors for gas and oil for fire.
Okay.
100,000 be recommended to the electors for police.
Let's do it all together.
62,000 be recommended to the electors for DPW, and 15,000 be recommended to the electors for landfill.
Seconded by Chris. Discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
How much was it? How much do I have for landfill? 15?
Yes.
Right off your sheet. Now you want to go to town council? Last night. Where's the big one? The one that Laura sent us.
That's what I'm wondering.
Should I just recuse? I'm gonna just do that one item.
Just
so
that
I
one
can
item.
recuse.
Yep.
All right, so you're gonna tell me what it is, and so I can recuse.
Okay, we'll be doing town council. Can you recuse?
I will, well, are we gonna do
No,
just,
Just town council.
okay, so you're not gonna take this separate from the
We're
rest?
going to take this separate, just the town council.
All right,
We're not taking town clerk, town administrator.
all right,
Just so that-
I just thought we were gonna take this line item separate.
We're going to take this whole thing.
All right. Well, I'll recuse myself from the town council's budget.
I moved in 94-261.
I'll second.
Page 5. Any discussion?
Yes. On the council funds, future needs, we'd like to change the name of that account,
Okay.
and Laura came out with contract negotiation reserve dash department head slash union.
Which I think may be too long.
Okay, any others? You'll second that? Okay, any discussion on that one?
Well, if Laura thinks it's too long,
Well, the issue, I understand we have a lot to do, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be, talking through some of these things.
Right.
Because there were issues with the future needs.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that everyone is comfortable leaving it the way it is. I had a notion, I had some issues with the senior center director and the longevity being taken out of the budget, and I had thought maybe that we wanted to reduce future needs and put the longevity back in the budget, under the notion that the idea was that the salaries were, level funded, and the raises, potential raises, went into the future needs account.
I don't think that's in our purview. I think we just need to identify the account, not try to tell the council how to negotiate or...
That's not what it's for.
It's
It's for
not-
because it's restricting it
I
so that,
understand it's restricted.
Well, there were, that was,
It just says
yes.
for negotiation, it's a reserve account for negotiations, that covers anybody that negotiate, whether it's a department head or, union employee. So
Right,
it doesn't have
that's-
to specify which.
That's the way it's set up now.
How
Yes.
about just future contracted raises?
is this going to require a resolution because we are using restriction language?
Well, if you say restricted, you need to have a resolution. If it's just changing the names of future needs, then I wouldn't think you need a resolution. I would hope not.
I think the simpler the better. I mean, it's...
Okay. So what-
I'll propose, I'll make an amendment. I'll amend her motion. I support this,
Okay,
but we also have to give the council and the administrator some flexibility. Jim, I thought, made a good point. I'd amend it to future contract negotiation needs. Future contract negotiations, or future contract negotiation needs, and end it there. This way, it doesn't tell anybody that that's your money, you can expect to get it.
Right.
It does give latitude to the town administrator and council.
okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion?
Maybe she rescinds her previous motion, right?
Well, he amended it.
We never voted on the original.
Right.
So it's just as easy for them to just make a motion.
Okay, let's vote on the original then. We'll vote on Ms. Odell's. All in favor? All opposed?
Now we'll vote on the.
Now we'll vote on
Mr.
Mr. Amaranti's motion.
Which
main
has been
motion.
moved and seconded.
Right. Any discussion on Mr. Amaranti's? All in favor? Thank you. Now, Laura, what do you want to,
That was the name change,
that
right?
was the name
Yep.
change.
No, we,
Not yet. Sorry.
When the decision was made to, one of the original proposed budgets, the potential raises were in each department's salary line item. And then, though the monies allocated for those raises were put into future needs, and the salary lines level funded. Well, that works for all the department heads, except for the senior center director, because part of her salary is longevity, and she's the only department head that gets longevity. Okay?
yep, follow.
So, in the final council budget, that longevity was set to 0, and the money's put into future needs.
Council
Okay.
negotiate a contract, I'm sure they can take care of that when they negotiate.
Right, but my point is, while the council is, negotiating the contracts, right, they're getting their salary. If they don't negotiate a new contract with the senior center director before the end of June, she will lose part of the salary she is making now because it's not in the budget. So my thought was simply to transfer the longevity money from future needs back into the longevity line, so in case there is no contract signed by the end of June, she won't lose part of her salary.
Oh, I see.
And that's, I just throw it out there.
So how much would you like to move?
My calculation is, it would be to less longevity. Future needs would be revised from 36,461 to 34,561, with that 1,900 going back in to the senior center director, the longevity line in senior center.
Okay.
Okay, and make that in the form of a motion?
Can I just say so moved?
So moved. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion on it? All in favor? Opposed?
All right, so,
So
So
what is
now the
that?
bottom line has changed.
Yes,
all right.
give
now-
Laura some
Withdraw
time
that
to,
amendment? I mean, motion?
okay.
All right, so we need to go back into this one. Where'd it go? All right, and I said the number would be,
Laura, do you have an extra copy of the draft? Jim, do you have an extra copy of the draft?
34,561, that's what I said, right?
You want to see
Yes.
the draft? Do you have an extra copy of it? No?
Right. Okay, sorry, that took a while.
92,361.
Okay, so the revised total now is 92,361.
92,361.
Yes.
Okay, somebody want to move 92,361?
I'll move it.
Move it. Second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor of 92,361?
What happened to the first one?
What first one?
The one we initially made
Or,
for
what?
94,261?
They never got,
I never moved it.
never moved it.
All right, I seconded, but
It
That's
never-
fine. It never
got
come up
amended
for-
by-
got it. Okay. All right.
Okay, do you want to
Yep, yep.
tackle that other one you just added it to?
Yeah, the senior? Yeah, I put it in there already.
The pages there.
It would be on the second to the last page
Second to the last page?
is the senior center.
Okay. 18, 19.
We're going to page 20.
You can come back.
Come back.
Under-
18.
It's under,
Yes, I saw it.
Page 18.
18?
and we're putting longevity in under what line is this?
Longevity's back in under 988-106 for 1900. Okay, Laura, what does that change that to?
104,620.
Somebody want to make a motion on that one?
So moved.
Second?
Second that.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, senior citizen service, 104,620, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Unanimous.
So,
Thank you. Okay, let's go to legal services. Page 6. Litigation, legal services. Page 6.
You're looking for a
You
motion?
gotta say.
We're looking for a motion if we want to add,
Wait.
I have
leave
to be
it.
recused.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep,
I'm going to move 281, 500.
and you're adding it to?
I'm adding, I'm bringing back the litigation line to 120, and the legal zone, the labor to 25,000, as it was recommended by the town council.
Okay,
We need a second?
we need a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second for discussion.
Can I make, if I make, do we want to vote on this? And
Well,
then,
do you want to have discussion on it?
yes.
Unless there's an amended motion.
Well, that's what I was just going to
I
ask.
think she should amend it this time.
You want to amend it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I would amend it, litigation to be 100,000 and labor to be 20,000.
I'll second that motion.
And that's the number we originally discussed last week.
No,
No.
we set it at 75.
we set it at 75 and 15 last week. Okay, there's a second to that one?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion?
Can you say why, Laura?
Yes, I agree with what seemed to be a general consensus, and it's no shock that we spend too much in legal fees. I am not enamored of the method, or I understand that we have unknowns that we have to prepare for. And we should plan for some unknowns. But I think 100,000 is enough, and if there's a big enough litigation that we need to have more money, then there are options available to the council. You know, they can have a special town referendum, they can propose withdrawing money from the general fund and having a vote on that. I think the town has resources that available to them. But I think 75,000 is too low. I just think that's too low. For labor, I think 15,000 is too low. I look back at the costs over the prior years that we had, the audit costs, and I think 20,000, again, there's only one negotiation coming up. I understand there may be issues with unions, that labor line item is used for other things than just negotiation. Enough said.
Okay.
Well, I'd just like to weigh in, because I thought when we left last week that we had figured out that we were going to reduce this significantly, and there was a reason why. You know, we've talked continuously about the amount of needs we have in this town with paving and things like this. It just seems to me now that Bay Street, which was the big expenses, what drove this budget through the sky to begin with, in my opinion. I don't know, I can't go. You know, if this goes, motion passes, fine. If not, I'm going to make a motion to return to the numbers we agreed upon.
Well, see, what we learned last night,
I know, they always come with the worst-case scenario. If this,
no,
the
listen,
sky's falling.
I have been on that side of the table, I have been in that room, okay?
I've
And
been
there
in people's
are,
homes that are telling me they can't pay.
I know,
they can't
we're
pay
all
for
in the
their
same
bills.
boat, Joe, I'm all in the
And they're
same
going
boat.
through potholes.
I hear you. But
So
you know what? People
We
bring
bloated this
litigation
budget
against
for
the
years.
town that is unplanned
Well, they need
for.
to start to settle. We've had lawsuits going on for years and
Well,
years.
that's
They
easier
play
for
a
us to
game,
say.
They go to court, they postpone and send us a bill. They
That's
postpone, they
easy
send
for us to
bill.
say sitting here.
I know
It's
easy
not
to
that
say,
easy
but
to
you know what?
say.
I didn't just fall off the tuna wagon.
No, nobody said you did.
We're getting milked.
Well, that's your opinion, but it's
We're
not,
getting
it's
milk.
not the case.
Okay, so
I'm tired of feeling like an udder.
what was that first one? It was 120 and 25, so that total was what, 2?
That would be
Mine was
the,
281.5, the
281.
original recommended budget from the town council.
and mine
What was yours? What yours was,
Mine is, yeah,
256?
56?
thank you, Joe.
256.5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So still,
So,
still compromise.
And,
yeah,
you know, as much as, you know, there have been a number of different things that have driven the reduction in this, and, you know, there are legitimate reasons why.
Speak into the microphone, please.
Yeah,
You cannot be heard back here.
you're up front.
You're a front.
But, yes,
Right behind me.
Oh, she's telling you?
Well, there are a number of reasons why this was cut last week. Yeah, I think the most prominent one was probably some of the frivolous stuff that was going on with some of the lawsuits with between the town council and the school committee, and then we found out last night that there was also $30,000 in settlement. So you take those two numbers, you know, out of what's been expended. I don't have an issue with, you know, where it was put down to.
I don't have
I have been, you know, probably one of the more calm voices of reason in this committee for many, many years, and I'm not opposed to some middle ground. But, you know, there, like Laura said, there are other options. And I think justifying the lower amount, not, maybe not the 226, but at least the 256, can be, you know, justified with the resources that the council has at its disposal to make budgetary actions throughout the year. It's never a perfect issue with budgets, but, you know, I just can't see putting in the entire amount they requested.
Okay, we'll take a vote on a 281,500. All in favor of 281,500? All opposed? Okay. We'll jump to the second one. All in favor of 256,500? Is that the correct number?
Yep.
256,500. All in favor? All opposed? Okay,
Yep, got that.
what else did we have from last night?
The planner.
Planning. Page, that was way back this way, right? Okay, that takes us to the planning department. Page 7. What do we have for recommendations?
I'll move to 44,124.
Page 7.
Second that.
Second it? Okay, discussion?
Should I amend it or not?
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
And they were talking last night about needing a planner. I think they were talking about the Field of Dreams. If they have a planner, they will come. The economy's not good. There's all empty buildings in Main Road. We can use a consultant. I think it's definitely the right choice to keep it out of the budget.
Anyone else?
I respectfully disagree. I think
Okay.
it's really short-sighted. I was at that meeting in Stonebridge when they had all that that grant money that they wanted to use. And I remember that architect saying, you live in a beautiful place, and they're gonna come. And if you're not ready for them,
The grant
God help
monies are
you.
drying up also.
no, I'm saying that a planner will help us plan for the future, because developers are going to come here. I
I look at
disagree.
the revenue numbers, and I look at the number of building permits that are going through this town compared to where we were prior to 2008, and they're not coming. They're not coming because taxes are too high,
No, I,
not only in this town, but in the state. It's up to this committee, keep those taxes down. Then the businesses will come. Then maybe we can afford a planner when the businesses start to come. But you know, to hire somebody to sit around and plan for a future, you know,
And write grants,
it comes right down to it. That money can go into roads.
and write
So that when
grants,
somebody
Joe.
comes and look at this town, they're not driving through potholes and looking at old vacant buildings. The bottom line is, we gotta find priorities in this town.
I agree.
Priorities to keep our buildings and our roads in good condition, our schools in good condition.
You know,
We don't
several
have
years
money to
ago,
waste.
we had developers come in here and try to run roughshod right over this town.
Right.
Yeah.
We were in serious litigation.
We're on.
I mean, and not only as a town, but as personal servants of this town. I was one of them. And let me tell you something, that was no joke. That was no joke. And we spent a lot of money. Money that if we had a planner, that could have all been, I wouldn't say the whole thing would have been avoided, but there would have been systems in place that probably would have stopgapped a lot of the roughshod that was going over in this town. If anybody was here through any one of those hearings, through that planning board and through those zoning board meetings, with those highfalutin Armani suit developers that came in here to try to think that we were country bumpkins, we didn't know what we were doing.
The
running-
operative word is several years ago.
I'm
It's not
sorry,
that-
what?
The operative word is several years ago.
Well,
Those
let me
things are not
tell you,
going on now.
history repeats, it certainly will. Because if you don't have those people, the right professionals in those right positions, you heard Andy last night with those towns that have planners. I know, we're gonna keep personalities out of this, okay? It's not about Andy, it's the facts that he was trying to put across. The fact is, those towns that have those positions have the town planned in such a way that if they're gonna come in, they're gonna follow the plan. They're gonna
That's why they
follow.
don't come in, because we try to over-regulate.
Okay, so we only had a planner for how many years, so why
That's
didn't
why they
anybody
won't
come
come to
in
this town,
before
because they
that?
come to this town, you're gonna tell them, no, you can't build that kind of building, you gotta build this kind of building. You know, we wanna make sure that they can't even have a flat roof, for God's sakes. I go to the same meetings, I've been to all the planning board, the meetings that we've been holding, listening to, not the actual planning board, the meetings that we've been going through to find out what the problem is with our zoning. And we already know what it is. There's too much already. We make it too difficult to come
Well,
to this town.
before we didn't have
And
a
those
planner, there
developers you
wasn't,
talk
there
about,
wasn't,
that they
there
came
wasn't
here with
tens
money
of
in their
thousands of
pockets
people
wanting to spend
banging the
that money,
doors down to
and
come
we
in
sent
then.
them away.
We didn't have a planner for how many years?
We don't need a plan. We didn't have a plan. We have volunteers. And I'll tell you something else I know about this town. When the need is there, people come out of their homes and they volunteer and they get the work done.
Okay.
I know many of them. And
Yeah.
we'll get it done. We'll get the planning done in
Good,
this
can you
town.
plan, are you gonna plan the next shopping center then?
What shopping center? Who the heck wants to
Well,
even move
that's
to Rhode
what,
Island?
that's what we'll get.
That industrial park is a rock. We should have turned it over to a developer.
Okay, let's
Oh, granted,
let's
I don't
get
know.
back.
Can I
so
just
Some
add
people
a
just
few?
can't see the vision,
No,
so-
I'm just going
I'll move the question.
leaving the philosophical differences aside, there were a few items that I learned today from our, I wouldn't say temporary planner, but the person who is
Covering.
doing those duties for us at the moment. What I learned that I didn't know was that one of the biggest jobs a planner has is grant writing. And it's not only writing the grants, it's following up on the grants. It's doing the evaluation and the implementation of the grant programs.
A lot of us remember when the administrator, you know, we were told we need a town administrator, and guess what? He's gonna bring in so much money in grants, he's gonna pay his own salary. See, I got a memory, I've been living in this town for over 20 years now, I remember things I've been told. We were told the administrator was gonna bring in so much money, he was gonna pay his own salary.
Okay,
So now you tell me the planner is gonna do the same?
let me finish. Joe,
Come on,
let me finish.
Okay,
I can't help it, I'm psyched tonight.
We're ready.
you should have been here last night.
Yeah.
No, I didn't need to be here.
Hold on.
All right. So what I learned was the grant writing and the evaluating of the programs and the implementation of the programs. In that person's opinion, the planner would pay for itself with the grants. I never thought that was that big a part of the job. I thought that was a side benefit. It isn't. It is a big part of the job. Some examples are Stonebridge. We got $2.3 million for Stonebridge. That had been on the books when Mr. Webster was here for our former head of DPW. It lay dormant, and I don't want to disparage Mr. Spencer's capabilities, but as soon as we got a town planner and a full-time planner, we got the grant. The GIS mapping system, they have been trying for years to get that grant. We got the full-time planner, we got the grant. Now, maybe he was particularly adept at writing grants,
He was.
but nevertheless, we have a challenge grant for $70,000, and in this person's opinion, we got that challenge grant because we had a full-time planner to make sure that those monies were spent as the state funded them. So those things were new to me to learn. The other thing, one of the primary functions is to keep the town out of trouble, to what Joanne's point is. I know the council has been working on redefining the job, not redefining it, but clarifying the definition of the job so that it becomes clearer what the job responsibilities are, not a policy setter, but someone who will present options to the council in order to implement the policy that they want to go forward with. So those are the new things that I learned, facilitate economic development, and I won't give another treatise on it.
Well, not to mention that everyone, for the longest time, wanted a market. We have a market.
Hold on. That's a market.
Yes, it's a market. In this town it is.
I just have a comment. You brought up the challenge grant, Laura, and I think we received 75,000.
So I think 70 is what I wrote down, but
70,000. All right, we heard last night from, I believe it was Andy Tights, that we're gonna have to send out pamphlets at $5 apiece because of this challenge grant, that's now gonna cost us $100,000.
There you go.
So we got a $70,000 grant that's turning into $100,000 for the town.
There you go.
I'm not in favor of a planner, and I will not be voting for a planner.
right.
I think what we need is if we have situations that come before us, we hire a consultant.
But you know
And
what,
bring them in.
I wanted to bring up one thing. When has ever this budget committee ever zeroed out a position out of the budget? And what's the rationale for it, anyway? What is the rationale for it?
I believe we don't need a planner,
Why?
because we can do it with
No, we
with
can't.
consultants. We did it for years with
No,
consultants.
we did nothing for years. Chris, how many times have we zeroed out a position in this town out of the budget? I don't think it's a purview to do what the policy is, that what the town council had fought for years to bring this position
So
onto
now
this
deputy
budget.
chief for the police department.
No.
Zero funded it.
No, they
Wouldn't let him
reallocated.
hire.
They
No.
reallocated.
Council reallocated.
No, and the
No, I'm
planner,
saying, though, we never rehired that position. We had it.
We don't do the hiring, Joe.
I'm just saying, she said we
We
never.
put the money in the
zeroed it.
budget for how many years and there was nobody there?
and I would remind everyone that it was a financial town meeting where this planner was
I'm not trying to be
approved.
coy, I'm trying to think whether or not we've ever done it, so give me a minute longer, because I do have a,
I'm thinking that
I do
that
have a
would be an
fairly
answer.
good memory.
I'm thinking that that would be an answer you'd know right off
Alex?
the top of your head.
I remember we did something with the position once, and I don't think we did it, though.
Jim?
I don't think it's relevant because there is a mechanism in our financial town referendum whereby somebody that's dissatisfied with our recommendation can submit a taxpayer petition. And I'm sure we recall that last year someone did. And if there are strong feelings about restoring the funds, then that should be done by way of a petition, if this motion fails. So it is not the end of the world if this Budget Committee elects not to recommend the 65,000 or some negotiated, some different amount, because it can be addressed through a petition as the charter so provides. So whether or not it's been done before, the fact remains, this vote is not fatal if his motion prevails. Thank you.
Just a comment, and I've heard part of the discussion, and, I guess both Madeline and Jim both made mention of the fact that we could utilize a, subcontract purpose, but have we considered putting any money aside to pay for that contracted service? I know when we had Jane Weidman, who did a phenomenal job for this town as a subcontractor, it was actually her work, and I will go to the T's for this. It was her work as a part-time contracted planner that actually brought to light the need for the planner at the time that we got a planner full-time. I'm not sure what the animosity is about the planner's position, if it's about the, and it's not about personalities. It's more about structure and direction than it is anything else between council, planning board, planner, town administrator, and until I think that gets resolved, I think that's the fear of most of what the current controversy is. I'm just trying to lay it out. Is it that you put money aside to do a part-time planner for the next year and see the work that's done, at least on a temporary basis, to get the confidence level back to fund that position appropriately? I don't know. I'm just trying to put it out there on the floor. But if you don't do one, you at least need to do the other. That's, and I don't know what that number is. That's just trying to get it out there for discussion.
No, and to your point, Chris, of the restructuring and the issues with lines of communication, and I just would repeat that I know the council has been working on refining
And I'm sure they
their
have.
duties and responsibilities.
I don't micromanage what they do, no different than what they come and micromanage how we operate.
Right.
And I'm sure that they'll, look at another, they've done, yeoman's work as far as it relates to the master contract for all the directors. Hopefully, they get to a point where they've recognized the issues and that gets resolved. But I don't know how to bridge that and the feelings that some of you may have on this committee. So, I'm just trying to get it out there so it gets, if you're gonna air it, air it. I mean,
Yep.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion?
You know,
You already
I
did.
need to make one more point. I'm sorry, but I'm passionate about it because we fought long and hard, and we took the recommendation of our part-time consultant planner. And not only that, but it was also part of the writing of the comprehensive plan, which took almost, I don't know how many years to write. I mean, it's just, but when you think about, what the planner does, okay? What the planner does isn't, like I said it last night, isn't a tangible thing. It's a lot of behind the scenes, it's a lot of work that has to be done within the confines of their office to bring forward to the appropriate committees for recommendation. It'd be zoning ordinances and the like. So when you see that, well, we don't have businesses, well, those are the tangible things, but what it takes is to get all the zoning in its proper form, because the whole town is non-conforming. That's the whole problem. And unless you have a professional trying to work through that, it's going to remain non-conforming. Every single area of this town is non-conforming.
It was conforming until they changed it,
Well, guess what? It's changed now, isn't it? And we need a person that knows
Why not just change it?
the legalities. It's not that easy.
It was pretty easy when they changed and turned commercial
Yeah, because
businesses
you know
into
what?
residential neighborhoods.
Yeah, no one was
And
looking.
then everybody who had a store there is a non-conforming.
Yep.
They
And
can't-
now we
if
have
they
a
don't
lot of
sell
lawsuits.
donuts
And now
today,
we
they
have
can't
the
sell donuts
lawsuits
tomorrow.
because of it.
But a planner is not gonna make that better. I saw what the planner was doing. It was just another layer of
No,
complication on
that's
top
the
of it.
problem. That's the problem.
Please,
You
you don't
don't
understand
see
long
what the
enough to know.
planner does, because he
I
does,
do see what he does. I was in his office probably more than you.
you think so?
I bet.
Well, I beg to differ.
Not only was I over there looking at the leaks in the building in his office, but I looked at a lot of his stuff. I went to all the meetings, remember?
no.
Anyone else?
I just want to make a statement that for me, I am also, although I rarely get passionate, I'm passionate about this. And
Should I
for
tell
me,
you how I really feel?
yeah, no.
And that's fine.
Yes, but just to be fair, and I don't want to sound like I'm stomping my feet because I didn't get my way, this for me is a deal breaker. And come the end of the day, end of tonight, it's not like I'm not going to do the work, but in all good conscience,
It's not right.
I can't support a budget that doesn't fund the planner. So I just put that out there for what it's worth.
Okay.
We'll get some public comment if you don't have.
Alex?
I've been in town for years, and everything that's tried to come to this town, we've chased out. We've chased out. We had a planner here when they wanted to sell the whole industrial park, and the man wanted to buy it.
Which planner was that?
I think the last one that just left here.
It was before he came.
Yeah.
All right. We chased that one out. You had a woodworking company over in Portsmouth that wanted to buy land up there, we told them we couldn't sell it to them.
Sorry, Charlie, you're not the
No.
kind of business we want.
See, a lot of things go on in executive session because, no, that's not right, Joan. Don't come with those innuendos.
Oh, no, we talked to the
Because
developers.
a lot of things go on in executive session that can't be brought out because of potential litigation and business. And that's what they require, that's what they request, okay? That they not be advertised that they're looking to come in. The woodworking shop, there was issues around that, okay? Because of the land, it wasn't the business, it was because of the land, okay? And we all know that. Well, you've said it a million times, Joe, how incompatible that whole industrial park is to anything.
We sold a
He
lot.
couldn't build up there, but he built a big plant right across from, right next to the
Yeah,
water
because,
in Portsmouth.
why is that? Maybe it was ready.
My next
Maybe-
door neighbor was on the budget committee here. Where did he relocate his business? Warwick Industrial Park. Well, it's nothing to do with him.
fact.
Um,
Fact we all know.
Dave,
Any comments? Ms. Cook, step up to the microphone, please. We got them working for you.
Is it working?
Yeah.
All right, I listened to everyone. I know you're working diligently, but I looked at 2003 to 2013. It looks like our debt and budgets have doubled. I don't think the budget's a reality. If you want to have a planner, then you have to give up something else. You can't keep just going forward and just taxing people out of their homes. You want to have a planner, what are you going to cut? Who's going to,
We all
maybe
live
you
in
need
this
to
town.
stop laying people off, or no pay raises, moratoriums on hiring.
You know, when I
Look,
say-
you can't have everything.
I know. Okay, she's asking me a question.
Yeah.
However, when I sat on the council, we had these same issues. When I sat on the council, we had to come almost that close to cutting snow plowing, trash pickup, and the
You're cutting the
like.
wrong things.
Oh, see, it's now cutting.
How about
the wrong
hiring,
things.
moratoriums?
How are we gonna pick up trash and snowplow when we lay off people? How do you do that?
Well, you can always
that the answer?
have people, do outsourcing and have their own trash pickup
And do you
and
think
not have
that
the
is
town
not
do
any
it.
cheaper? Let me tell you, when you go into a contract like that, that is the most expensive way to.
No,
do
I
it.
mean, people pick their own,
Oh, people, yeah, well, there's laws about that too.
and then they take the trash wherever it goes. I mean, if I'm charged $18 a month or something, I pick my own, it's no longer the town's problem. I am just saying that this can't continue where you keep increasing the tax every year because you don't want to do without.
We're not
Like you do in your home. If you want the planner,
Understood.
you've got to cut something.
We did, and we have.
What? What have you cut?
Laura
The
went-
taxes are going up.
Laura went through, you know what, the planner isn't.
looks like there isn't an expense that you don't like.
The planner isn't the one item that's driving the taxes. It's not, okay? What drives up the cost and the levy is the fact that insurance costs have gone up. What are we supposed to do about that? Not have any?
Taken out of their wages.
Hold on.
Enough.
All right, I do hear you, and I don't want to take up a lot of time. I'm just saying, like, we have to do in our homes. When things go up, you have to go, what am I going to cut? Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to give up cable. We'll have to get rid of our phone. Look, you want the planner, you got to cut. The contracts that are being negotiated, I'm questioning that every time there's a contract negotiation, everyone's getting a pay raise. You know what? Can't afford it anymore. You can't afford it anymore.
That's not true. How many years have not one,
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going
Let's
to
move
offer
it.
an amendment to Mr. Bento's motion. And this is, in having listened to what Chris had to say, I'll move that $20,000 be restored to the planner position. This is just seed money. It can be called a planner/consultant, but I am mindful of the fact that the council is trying to make some policy in this regard, and we have the right under the charter not to agree or to seek an accommodation. And let's see what $20,000, it may not do anything, but it gives some legitimacy to the request.
I would only ask, if you're going to do that, that you strike it from the 115, 100 account, because that's a salary account in the budget object codes, as a normal salary account, that you'll put it in the 115,
620,
398
398.
account, which is actually a contracted services account, so that, you're not, commingling salary positions with contracted services positions.
so that'll make that 21,000.
21,000.
Chris, I've got a follow-up to you, if I may.
That's fine.
What is, if the planner if the budget recommendation as it stands now under the provisional vote prevails tonight, what does that do to this person's health and dental?
There would be a
Costs.
contract, because if you pulled it out of the 100 account, it's not a salary. So it would become a subcontracted employee, it would have no benefits.
But the health and dental for the
That would have,
planner,
that should be stricken, if that's,
is it in there now?
it should be now.
And approximately, what kind of money are we talking about?
We'd have to ask Jim what the-
For health and dental for a planner? Just a rough estimate, Jim.
We're putting 20,000 in?
Did you say 15 and 4, 15?
Top of my head, with the
Up.
new rates, I'm gonna guess.
Guess, please.
14,000.
14,000. And then,
It's just a guess.
so under the health and dental, that would be reduced by 14,000.
If that's what your motion is, that you'd have to make
Well,
that as a motion.
I'm not making that a motion, I'm just asking if my motion prevails, then,
If your motion prevails as a subcontractor, then ideally, you would want to take that out, because that would be one less employee. If you left it in, it's just more money that's available.
have we voted on that line yet?
We have not.
Okay.
Provisionally, I think we
Final.
voted on them all, but a final vote, I don't think so.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, you
Okay.
did? Okay.
Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of Jim's motion for, what's the total amount now?
Well, it would be
be
21,000 in 115,398.
And the bottom line would be?
I don't, would be 64.
64,124? 64,124. All in favor?
Wait a minute. Instead of the 65, it would be 64, 124?
No, no, no.
No,
the
instead of
bottom line.
44,124.
Instead of the total at the bottom of being 44,124,
Got it.
you'd be adding 20,000 to the 398 account, making that
That's where
21,000,
it's going.
bringing the total 20,000 higher, which would be 64,124.
Okay. All in favor of 64,124, raise your hand.
Joe, that's a, yeah, new planner.
Okay.
Did you get it?
All opposed?
But, yeah.
Failed.
Who didn't vote?
Oh, that's all right, I'm sorry, I missed. I voted for, I apologize, I did vote for.
Okay. All in favor of 64,124, raise your hand.
Yes.
64,124. 3, 4,
Sorry.
5, 6.
Jeepers, Chris.
All
All right,
opposed?
it was a quick one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm used to being chairman where you don't vote, you know?
Passes. No, I vote.
It passes?
Passes.
So that's 21.
I know it's not ideal, but
Now, is that,
Compromise.
is that presumption then that the planner remains as is zeroed out, or does that need a separate vote?
Zeroed out,
We gave them money.
but we gave them 20,000.
I'm just asking if that was clear in the motion, or do you want to do a separate vote?
We'll do a separate vote if you'd like. Take a motion to zero out the planner. Do we have to?
Was that
I
clear?
don't think you
I
have
thought it
to.
was.
Okay,
I-
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we voted
I don't think you have to.
Yeah, plus,
What's next? Bobby Martin had a question earlier, I don't know if he still has it.
Bobby, did you have a question?
No, I was just gonna go non-reoccurring.
Okay,
I promised you last night.
Oh,
I don't know where we are, so.
is that one that we,
Roof. What's doing?
The only other thing I wanted to say, I'm trying to, or outside, we do it wrong, and that $2 million, that started with Jimmy Collins, and then it was starting with current. So we just want to follow it up.
Okay,
that's fine.
So it wasn't.
Okay, were there any others from last night?
paving?
Paving and draining, or drainage and paving?
Paving and drainage.
Yeah, that goes under public works. Line 18, 19.
What page you got, Lon?
I got page 16, but I'm not sure if that's it.
Yeah.
Are you still?
I guess, no, I don't have
Are
paving
you
marked
still
off.
okay with the
What's for paving?
170,000? I know we had a lot of discussions.
Yeah,
What was the issue? I know you brought it up last night,
I
but
brought it up last night, and I'll make a motion for discussion, and I'll just make a motion. I'd like to keep drainage, level fund drainage at 40,000. Oh, I lost my place.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble.
I did the same thing last night.
you had a sheet on it last night.
I do have a sheet. I passed out a sheet last night
Yeah,
on it.
right
So
here.
you want to reduce our 50 to 40,
Right.
Right here.
all right?
Let me just give the numbers.
I
and
just
then-
remember Lawton Avenue was a lot more money than I thought it was, that's all I
Let me
remember.
just give the numbers, and then I'll give the background. Paving would be level, drainage would be level funded at 40,000, and paving would be increased to
I don't think they
100,000.
paved until they actually do some remediation.
Paving says
That's a
150.
question for him. I have
Yeah,
no
well,
idea.
she's saying that.
I'm assuming you're saying.
The drainage,
100,000.
the drainage portion of account 554794 to be level funded from this current fiscal year at 40,000.
Right.
So I'm reducing
That by 10.
by 10, and the paving program, I'm increasing
160. What are you saying?
to 130.
From
I'm
122 to
increasing last
130.
year's,
Oh,
I'm
Last year's to
increasing
122.
last year's appropriation to
okay.
130.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at the administrator's
170. So it's a
recommendation.
minus 30, is what you're saying? So the bottom line would be 519? Is that,
Let me-
Yeah.
in that particular line,
Right.
the
Yes.
operations?
Yep.
Mr. Burch, give us a number.
Okay.
yeah, 519. Yeah, we did it.
I know we had a lot of stuff to finish to the top. but,
Well,
All right, so here's what I went through last night. Long story short, with the numbers that we looked at last night, my argument was that the most we've ever spent in the course of a fiscal year on paving in any one single given year is back in 2008, when we spent 288,000. If we budget 170, which is what this account totals to, if we budget 170,000 for drainage and paving, and there are any carry forwards left from the DPW operating account, that goes into it. And we spoke last night about some carry forwards being available, whether it be 5, 10, or 15. And in addition to that, we also have, if it passes, the governor's proposal for road and streetscapes program. In addition to that, it has come to my attention, and I think, Jim, maybe you can confirm it or not, but we will now be receiving reimbursements from the blizzard.
Not for snowplow.
Not for snow plowing, just for tree removal.
Damage.
We are
Pretty
going
damn.
to submit a proposal for reimbursement on the snowstorm. Okay, but obviously, that has nothing to do with paving, and we're not gonna get 100%.
What my point is-
We're only gonna get 75% of what we spend.
Okay, and what would that estimate be for the DPW?
Don't, have no idea at this point. Can we just cover snow plowing on an overtime basis?
Well, so it would be at least 20 or 30,000. I guess what my point is that when this money comes in, that will be in the DPW operating account. Everything left over at the end of the year is swept, carried forward into paving. At least that's how it's supposed to work.
Is your motion seconded?
Oh, she never made a motion.
I didn't make a
I'll-
motion.
I'll move her
And
170,000.
I'll second it.
Any
So-
discussion?
Oh, okay.
Any discussion on 170?
I'm agreeing with you, don't need to argue.
All in favor?
Oh,
Okay.
well, that was easy.
Did you vote for it?
No, I'm in favor of it.
While we're on paving, Jim, when the settlement came in on Bay Street, there was certain monies that were carved out that were given to the town for remediation of some of those roads. Is that money sitting in a restricted escrow type? And that is only to be used for those roads, correct?
For the cleanup, yes.
Of those roads?
Right.
All right.
Doesn't cover legal.
No, I'm not,
It's just for,
I'm assuming you've got some remediation work to do on those roads, and that's gonna go to fix those, all right.
And how much is it?
left. I can't tell you off the top of my head because I haven't looked at it recently and I don't get a report on it. I have to go looking for the report, but it's probably somewhere around 400,000.
I only ask in case during the public hearing or during that process, somebody's gonna mention it. You get all kinds of money to pave roads and do things, and that's not the case. And that's, I just wanna make sure.
Just for that, it's just for that area.
Not the case. It's just, it's gotta be used in that area.
Right, okay.
Can I get a
It's
mo,
not just to pave roads, it's to clean. The only paving that can be used is if, for example, A Connell Street, there's a portion of it that we're looking at, that we're gonna have to remove a portion of the road from curb to curb, so to speak.
Yep.
Okay. So we can obviously use that money
To remediate.
to pave what, after we've cleaned up, we can use that money to pave the road and that section. But just because there's another road, maybe Judson Street or
Right.
one of those other streets down there, just because it's run down,
Right, it can't be used for that.
can I get a motion on this revised total for DPW operations? Because the revised total is now 515,000.
I'll move 519.
It's 519,
519 or
515? She said 515.
I have 519, if you
That's
move.
what I have too.
519.
Was there anything else?
We changed gas and oil.
Oh,
That's right.
Did you change that last night?
Just
No, we just did it.
now, Chris.
Oh,
We
I'm
just-
sorry, that was the first one I missed then, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry.
okay, so it's 515.
It's now 515.
where'd the other 5 come from?
Gas and oil.
Gas and oil,
What's that budget?
4.
Yeah, well, I'll move
For operations.
515, I'm
Yes.
sorry, what was it? 515?
515 for DPW operating expenses.
And I'll second it.
Okay, any other further discussion? All in favor, 515? Thank you. Any other hot ones?
Well,
Jim's assistant,
Oh, yes. Town administrator,
Which one is this? What page?
page 5.
Thank you. Yep.
Jim, can we be clear on this tonight? Her salary is
38.5.
right now. Thank you.
What did we put in?
30.
37 something?
34?
No, I put it 40.
oh, that's Jim.
What page are we on?
Page 5,
Yeah, oh, I see it.
second one down.
Someone doing the math?
Any recommendations?
I just, every time we ask him, he gives us a different number, so I'm
Well,
confused.
the number now is 38.5.
It hasn't, I'm sorry, it hasn't changed. The book that you received in January, if you look.
It says
it says
37,
38 It said that she was earning 38.5.
no, the paper that I have here says 37,370.
At the bottom, there's a little star, and it says her current salary is 38.5. Problem is, it wasn't up where
In the
it
backup?
should have been. Right, it was down at the bottom with an asterisk. Right?
Yes.
Okay. we have a recommendation on this?
Motion?
Motion?
I'll move 38.5.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay. Discussion?
Question.
No discussion? So moved?
See, there, you're gonna pay lawyers' bills. I mean,
Okay, what
not
makes
that I
that
wanna do it, but
bottom number?
Let me just put it in.
Is everything else okay?
There was nothing else that anybody else wanted to bring up?
No?
I got nothing.
That would make the bottom line total 159,275.
So moved.
I'll
Do
second.
we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Unanimous. Can we go to the roof on, are we done with line item, operational line items?
Unless you want to do pension.
I thought we were fine.
Let's
You
go.
wanna add another 100 grand to it? We can do that too?
We're going to do the,
I can cut. Not
Mr.
a problem.
Chairman,
We can cut the
Dave.
pension and then you're gonna live with it later on, down the road.
Dave,
Go ahead.
are we going to do gas and oil for the other departments? You want? We've already
We
done all
did
of
them
them?
all, yeah.
Yeah,
This was the final one?
We voted it in a block.
yeah. remember-
Okay,
It was a block.
okay, that's right, yeah, okay, but I mean, but like, we have to vote the bottom line now for those departments, or is that we don't have to?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, with that amount added into
Yeah.
the bottom line on the docket.
It's going to change.
It is gonna change it. It's gonna lower them.
Okay, so fire, that revised total is let me get back down there, 375.85.
That's on fire.
Page.
Page?
I don't know. Page 12?
We got somebody that knows the pages.
375 what? Are you talking under?
375.85, right down here on the bottom,
That would be the bottom line number.
That's the
for
operation total?
operations. Fire department operating.
Second.
It went up.
Any further discussion?
Move the
Moved
question.
it, he seconded
Okay.
it. Seconded it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
All right,
That extra $2,000 goes into fuel.
fuel.
Phew.
One of them went up.
What's the other one?
Yes, the fire department went up.
Went up.
Right.
Police?
Wait, yeah, let me get to the,
That's
Next
page
one down.
14, second one to the top.
Okay.
It's 111 right now.
right, it's the bottom line, revised bottom line for operating, police operating is 226,250.
So moved.
Second.
What's the line item come to? It's not 111 anymore, it's what?
100.
Okay.
Where are you, please?
Move the question. On 14.
Page 14, 111 goes to 100,000,
And the
and
total
the total
goes
goes
to
to
226,
226,250.
111?
111 to 100,000.
Oh,
And bottom line goes to 226,250. All in favor?
Opposed?
Okay, next is DPW, we just changed, so we don't need to do that. Landfill, bottom line total revised is 199,733.
So moved.
Second.
What's the total again?
733, 199, page 17.
And the fuel goes from what to what? 18 to what?
15.
So the fuel goes from 18 to 15, bottom line goes from 202,733 to 199,733.
Move the
Correct.
question.
All in favor?
Joe Fusi, second.
Jim, yeah.
That it, gas and oil?
Yeah, let me just, can I just scroll up and down here? The only thing left, I think, was the presentation of the school resource officer. And we decided not to do anything with the department head salaries, so I will
26250.
unyellow those.
22625.
Insurance we did.
You're right.
Pension, nobody
370
wants to
page
go
14.
after.
585.
We've got to,
No, those were the only,
On DPW, right here.
nope,
515.
all my yellow line items are taken care of.
515. It was 549, it was 56.
I was going to ask to be heard on this insurance.
Oh, go ahead, do it.
Going back to the insurance for the planner,
That'd be
should that line on page 10 now be reduced by approximately $14,000? And again, this was an estimate by Mr. Gonzalo.
You're correct.
I'm looking at group insurance, health, and dental.
You
I don't know
gotta,
about-
you gotta split
I would
them.
just take it all out of health and let them do an adjustment later.
Whatever, okay. What do you want to, you just want to do that bottom line, or?
I would take it all out of health and,
Take 14,000 out of it.
so it's
All right.
2062,
406.
406. And the
20
bottom is
2062.
2062, 406. That's 2533, 275.
2533, 275?
Yep,
So moved.
second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Oops.
The estimate that was given for 14,000, is that for a family plan? So we assume that the planner came in and it was budgeted for a family plan in there, so you're cutting that versus an individual premium?
Yes.
A lot of money.
Maybe.
That's net of copay too, isn't it?
Agree to the vote? Are we all set?
We need a vote. All in favor?
All those opposed?
Can, is there any other line item? Can we go to the roof on the fire department?
I'll go back to the beginning, just
Whatever,
go back to the beginning, stuff, clean everything up.
okay.
There's only,
You want, we could do, before we move on to capital, you could do something like approve the bottom line for general government, approve the bottom line for,
Yep. Well, that's what we said we were gonna do.
Well, does that,
But that,
the bottom line for general government includes capital, doesn't it?
no. Capital is on its own.
so is there anything else in general government?
I have nothing.
Joe, did you have? Anything else in general government? Oops.
Yes, to be safe.
It's the legal,
Yeah,
the hydrant,
yeah.
and
Yep.
I think the fact that they recused on the individual items, they don't have to recuse on the total because it's blended and everything else. That would be, they can do it if they want, but it's. For a $1,500 item, I don't see how that gets blended in.
yeah, I'd say recuse.
Play it safe.
Play it safe.
Play it safe.
I would recuse. If you want to do it that way. I mean, we can take it by buckets too.
And can you, I don't know if you're familiar with it, there's a process when you're recused, there's actually a form you actually have to
Yeah,
fill
no,
out.
I asked Nancy for it, but they're
Okay.
locked up
All
right now.
So I make sure they do what they have to do,
Yep,
that's.
she already knows.
Well, which way you wanna do it? By total or by bucket? Because they have to recuse themselves. We have 3 that would have to recuse themselves.
I think we need to go and just move this budget along. We're running out of the
Quickest way.
Okay.
Put it on the bottom
I-
line.
I-
Going
Whatever.
on a bottom line, they'll have to recuse.
I'm not gonna burn them.
Okay.
Fun for the fire.
All right, so the total for general government is 1,072,437.
1 million,
Hold on.
1 million,
1,072.
Can you repeat that for me, 07?
072437.
437.
Thank you.
Can I make this bigger?
1,072,437?
137.
Okay. So moved?
Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor of 1072437, raise your hand. Opposed? Unanimous?
Unopposed.
No,
no, Laura voted.
I'm opposed.
Oh, one opposed.
Yes, this includes the planner.
Two opposed?
Three recusals, one opposed. It was one opposed, correct?
Laura was opposed.
Where did the,
Joe Bento.
where did the brunt of that
Yeah,
come
Joe.
from? It's an
Well,
additional, what,
Joanne.
52,000?
It's a running total. Look over on the right-hand side. Can you see it on the screen?
Yeah.
168, 300.
Where are we, what page?
168, 10,000 from planning, 45,000 on the planner, 65 on the, it's mostly in the planner. 65 in legal. 109.
No, 65, okay.
So, I mean, here we're already, legal, we're up to 109, 800.
Too much money.
Let me just make this all green before we go on, can I please?
You get all green. Get it on the Monday night.
Green for go. Green means go.
Council has it on the Monday night agenda to put the budget for $30,000.
All right, so here, see where along the right? After town administrator, we've saved 80, I mean, we get down to industrial park is a big one. Taking away that 60,000 is a big one.
Yeah.
Add in the 20,000 for litigation, 5,000 for legal zoning.
That's 20.
I mean, for I got that right, right? Yeah, labor. 65 for the planner.
Doesn't, yeah, but why would it be 50? Why do we-
At least that's not so,
Seems like
It-
cost of time.
it's 152 less.
You get the freaking lawyer, and you get the, hot shot.
Yeah, it's 152 less. Oh, that's because that doesn't equal that. Hold on.
Because we had, if it's 152 less, this should be, it shouldn't, 152 from 1,020,000. Oh, no.
No, I'm happy that you're
How far
checking
off are
this.
I'm just looking at the 1,020,837 and what we did tonight. And shouldn't come out more.
What was it last night?
Well, I'm looking at,
Are you following, is someone else following Jim's logic? Because I
What's the
didn't.
logic?
well, I'm looking at the Budget Committee recommended general fund expense budget draft that Laura emailed to us yesterday, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking on page 8, Chris,
Yep,
grand total, 1,020,837.
yep.
And I'm just in my mind quickly going through the additions and the subtractions so far tonight,
Yep.
and I think it should be less than 1,020,000.
Well, instead of 1,072,000, because it went up.
Then my question is, what did we do?
We added money to the
Yeah,
planner
but that's what we gotta, that's the thing.
We had the money for the plan.
And the lawyers.
Well, yeah, but that's 20, but,
and the lawyer.
And the
yeah,
lawyer-
but, all right,
And the
and then
administrative
what did,
assistant.
but look what we took out.
Administrative assistant, we added some.
Yep.
Yes, but those were already in there.
The takeouts, there were no additional takeouts tonight. The
Gas and
takeouts
oil, well,
were,
how about gas and oil? That was taken.
That's not
those are
general
in, those
government.
are in like,
Oh.
public safety, they're not in general government.
Oh, okay, all
Right.
right, okay, you're okay with, so it looks good then.
Well, what,
Okay.
let's
thank
see,
you.
I mean, you can add it up, right?
Okay, all right. Well, I know, for example, paving is $30,000.
But we didn't do, that's not
We haven't
in-
done that yet, yeah.
Right.
Correct, that's
okay.
not in this
All right.
section.
Well, we'll see when we come to the bottom line.
Okay.
Okay. We're all set, right?
Are you writing notes down on all of this?
I got the numbers, yeah.
Okay, because I'm not writing notes down on dollars added or anything else. I'm doing it all in the spreadsheet.
Okay, 1,072,437.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
The revised bottom line for financial administration is $4,843,769.
Okay, what page you on again?
11.
What is it? For what?
$4,843,769.
Okay. So, that's basically a $14,000. That's the health insurance that we took out.
Right.
Correct.
That's simple, okay.
I'm just looking up, yeah.
So the next one would be, oh, do you need a motion to approve?
Well, that's what I'm looking for, yeah.
Second.
Okay, discussion, all in favor, 4,843,769.
Next line item is gonna be,
All right, next line is protections to persons and property, and that revised total is $5,778,276.
It's on page
I gotta find it
15.
first.
Page 15.
5, 7,
7,8,
276.
5,
778,276.
that doesn't sound right. That's what,
10,000.
9,000?
no.
all right. Want to go
11,000.
through that?
That doesn't sound right.
Gas and oil, 11,000.
Yep.
Yeah, but wait a minute, wasn't there something else?
There's gas and oil,
You got,
paving,
this,
Was 30,000.
I got 11,000 just in DPW fuel.
And then the paving was 30,000.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
So it should be less.
That doesn't include DPW.
she's
Huh?
searching.
Looking at it, just fire and police.
I mean, I'm, police.
Oh, is that, I had the wrong total?
No, you're in the right total, but I think it's only
Protection to persons and
that only covers the, where's the, fire, how much did we take out in fire department?
We added,
Okay, we added where? What line item?
we added
Fuel,
fuel.
okay,
2,000.
We added 2,000 to the fuel.
okay. So, that's an add, then you took 11,000 away from police,
And that's the 9,000.
so that's the 9,000, okay.
All right.
All right, so it's okay. Next line item is the grand total
Well,
health.
let's,
All in favor of 5,778,
78276.
276. I move it.
Second, all in favor.
It's unanimous. Yep, Dave did.
Next,
is grants and health.
We don't have to do it if, do we, I move 478,437.
Second amendment.
Second.
all, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
That's on page 15 also. Next one,
Next one is Public Works.
and
We took,
Page
34 out of,
35.
we took 4,000 out of gas.
Thought we took 5.
We changed it to 62,000 from what was 66,000. So we
Yep.
reduced it by
Okay,
4,000. We reduced paving
by
by
30.
30,000.
And drainage by 10.
And
And-
gas and oil
and-
by 3 on landfill.
Exactly. For a bottom line total of 1,996,038.
Okay, and that difference is
1,996.
3, what?
$37,000
$038,
difference, right?
1,996,038.
So it's 3, 30, that ties up. I move 1,996,038.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Next is associated activities. The senior center's longevity, we added 1,900.
Right.
And the total for associated activities is $115,845.
So moved, 115,845.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Because you can't see my hand. I
Okay.
can't raise my hand.
Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Rec.
Page 19.
Parks and Rec. 121,413.
So moved.
Hold on.
Oop.
We did have a question on fertilizer.
Did we do this last night? No?
We're gonna leave that alone.
I'm fine with it the way it is.
Okay. Just wanted, I had a question mark there.
Dave,
If someone else wants to
Bobby,
talk
just-
to it, then that's fine.
yeah, I want Bobby to speak on, because every year with the Parks and Recreation, because I used to be on the Recreation Committee, they would spend it later in the year, to redo the fields and make sure everything's safe. And we've heard that the soccer field's kind of a mess, right, Bob?
I explained that last night. I thought that if you look at it, the money is
Come up,
still-
Bobby,
We've
come so
actually
that you
had
can be on the mic.
recreation director come before us in the past and explain this.
Right, that was a follow-up, Joe. I guess Recreation didn't know or weren't notified of, for whatever reason, they didn't come. But
We've talked about this
Yeah,
previous.
it looks like, just like if you look at the beach account, looks like there's a lot of money there. Well, guess what? We're not gonna open the beaches up until May, so that's when you spend the money. So you can't look at it now and say, hey, look, they got all this money, they really don't need it, let's take it away.
I
The
just,
councilman was down at the soccer field the other day. It's in that bad a shape that the soccer people were screaming at him. What do? Now you cut fertilizer? One of the worst things that you can do. That's one of the things that are most important, especially on soccer. They eat up fields like they're going out of style. So badly so that we suggested that maybe they go to the school department and see if they could use their field for a year to let that revitalize itself. But, and that's a pretty big hit for a small budget. You know, if we had a $200,000 budget and you took $3,000, that's peanuts. But in a $5,000 or $6,000 budget, you take $3,000 or $3,600, that's a lot of money.
How many soccer fields do we have, Bob?
We have one soccer field, but we got, what is it, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9 other fields. Baseball fields. They also
Yeah.
need to be fertilized. And what we're doing now is soccer, to try to lay off the lower field a little bit, are using between the 2 baseball fields at Town Farm for practice.
Right. I was down there today, actually.
Yeah, did you see them eating that up already? I mean, and that's only practice.
Wait a minute. That's not to lay off the lower field. There are actually fields up there. The lower field is 3 fields. A U12 field on the left-hand side as you come down the steps. I'm sorry, a U10 field as you come down the steps, a U12 field to the right, and if you combine them long ways, it's
Right.
a U14
It's a
field.
multi-purpose.
Right.
The top fields are U8s and U6s, and they're used that way.
And they were using them for practice. That's what I was
Practice
told
you-
by Bob Levesque.
Practice, you can use the upper field, but when you run games and when you run recreation, our fall rec program, the 2 lower fields, but we're also using in between the baseball and softball field as real fields.
And you have the acid as well that you
Can you repeat that number? Sorry?
You still use
Someone
the
have a
acid
question.
soccer fields?
I want to remind people why we made this motion.
Okay.
Possibility.
All right?
All right.
I'd like-
All set.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
I just want to do a quick, brief reminder of why we made that change, for those who weren't available last night. The reason why we made that change was because in 2012, the $4,000 that was budgeted for fertilizer wasn't used, and year-to-date, the $4,250 that was budgeted for fertilizer wasn't used, and it went into preventive maintenance. So there was a request to increase the fertilizer budget when money had not been spent, but reduce the preventive maintenance budget where money had been spent. So the reason why we changed it the way we did was to put more in preventive maintenance and lose the fertilizer. So they did get money, not as much as they requested, and if they want to transfer money between those two accounts, they can certainly do that.
Yeah, but your bottom line is still less. No matter how you
Correct.
cut it. No matter how you
Correct.
cut it, it's less.
As
And the
is
reason, and I
gas,
explained
as is
that.
the planner. I mean, you know, I said that last night.
I thought I
Balancing
explained it
act.
last night, but let me go over it again. Just today, Mr. Gonzalo got 2 transfers out of 2 different accounts to go into the field rehab account. And the reason for that, now we're taking it out of fertilizer again, because we got a backstop at Boogamosh, and I welcome anybody to go down there and look at it. If we get a strong wind, it's gonna kill somebody.
I was there today.
Okay, you see it leaning against the building. The pipes are totally rotted. It's $7,000 to replace that. It's gonna happen Tuesday. Monday, we're taking it down. It was 7,500. We saved 500 by us taking it down ourselves. All right. Today, I don't know if you were there, what time you were there, you saw the roller there. That roller, 700 and some bucks that we roll all the fields.
11:30.
Yeah, so we were probably one of the other fields. Matter of fact, it broke down. I didn't leave there till like 6 o'clock tonight.
I was at the other one about 12:30.
That's why the money gets transferred. You have to. We have nowhere else to go for it.
Okay.
Laura, I understand the history of it, but I mean, I also know what kind of shape the fields are in too, and I have to agree with Bobby. So, I'd like to move that, make a motion that we go with the town council's recommended budget with the 8650 total between fertilizer and preventive maintenance.
Second,
Wait, which total?
85?
8650 between the two of them.
Between the
Okay.
two of them.
Oh, for those two. So for the bottom line, it would be 41,113.
Yeah, because you have to,
So you're
Correct.
using the town council's recommendation as it is?
yes.
Yes.
They're both the same amount, though.
No, they're not.
No, no, no.
That's the current year. It's the middle column that's,
The 5,900 and the 2,750. We have a second?
I second it.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Here's what, wait, let me just clear. Here's what it was. Okay? Our provisional vote had set it to, we zeroed out the fertilizer and added money to the council budget for preventive maintenance.
Okay.
So we funded it as, the provisional vote funded it at 5,000 instead of the 8,650 that was recommended by the council. On the, because we, had no information at the time, and what we were working with was the numbers. And the proposal is to change it to what the council had recommended, 5,900 and 2,750.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of 41? 113. 2, 3, 6.
I have,
Just changed it.
No, you just changed it. You should have waited for
well, I gotta type it in, Jim.
Opposed?
Five.
Fail.
Carries.
Carries.
Carries? Yes, I should
No.
save this?
Carries.
No, it doesn't. It failed.
It was 6-5, wasn't it?
6-5.
It's 5.
All right, so we vote again?
Yep.
Let's vote again. All for 41, 113. Raise your hand. 1, 2. Alex voted twice. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Changed his
He
mind.
does that a lot. You gotta watch him.
Opposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fails.
Fails.
It fails. All right, so we're back to what we had, 7,463. Okay, so the grand total is 121,413 for Parks and Recreation.
Would you consider at least level funding to what it was the previous year?
Bobby,
Can't-
11th hour. There are a lot of people that would like to come on the last meeting and plead their case. Time's done for that.
Missing one person.
All right, did we vote on that bottom line? 121, 413?
Unless we have another proposal.
Did we vote on it?
We voted on it.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's 37?
We did.
So it's 37.
37, 460.
No, so it's 121,
413.
I'm sorry, 121, 413.
Okay?
Okay?
The last thing that I have is the school resource officer, which is shown on the bottom line, last line, as school resource officer, school share offset, which is the school contribution to the full cost of the school resource officer. The logic being that this is a police officer that reports to Chief Blakey within the police department, a municipal employee with municipal health benefits, yada, yada.
I moved the corridor to 5,400.
Thank you. I just want to, it's a chance to explain it so
That's what you get the
people.
discussion, this is good.
We have the camera here, some people might be watching and, be
Yeah.
interested in knowing that.
It's okay.
All right.
There was camera last night too, so.
Yes, but we didn't talk about school resource officer.
Second was
Oh,
Alex.
yes, we did. Okay. I stand corrected.
It's okay. Some people might have missed.
All in favor?
Aye, aye.
Now can we get to the roof?
Yep. What page is that?
Don't care
I'm
about
assuming
a
it's
loss of
capital, right?
fidelity.
It's gotta be under capital.
Oh, yeah, I moved the debt service, 3,629,020.
Hold on, what page?
It's on page 3.
Hold on, I've got a little Excel glitch here. Well, it's having a hard time with this. Yeah. Oh, come on, don't give me this.
I read that.
Oh, that's why. It's way at the end.
How far past the stop?
I had to take 2 syllables. Oh, my
Okay. Temporary panic. All right, what are we doing? Debt service?
Too awake.
3,629,020.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You wanna hit schools?
3629020.
Can't really do anything.
Opposed?
Gotta pay it.
Wanna hit schools? Do the schools.
Yes, let's go.
Let's do the schools.
I have an amendment.
Go ahead.
Could you please give this to our
the school department,
illustrious
you said?
chairman? This one's for Laura.
As a matter of fact,
You can read mine.
we can resolve these. Should be able to vote on the budget. I'm gonna take out the school resource officer.
You're away, 'cause this freaking
Oh,
thing.
yeah. I'll share Dave's.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I can pull out the stipends too.
All right.
I can pull out the
May I?
stipends too, it's no problem.
Thank you.
Oh, great.
No, probably not. Yeah, sure.
28,
Okay.
57.
Okay.
No, but if we pull those out, then
Oh, this, my motion is to recommend to the electors a fiscal 14 school budget in the amount of 26,690,507.
28.
I'm sorry, 28,690,507, which is the amount of 28,729,415, which was provided to us last night in the budget summary dated 4/3/2013, minus 38,918, and that's the sequestration line in the budget worksheet dated 3/12/13. In the interest of brevity, I talked about this last night and felt that I had concerns about the message in my mind that it may send to the taxpayers. that 5% of the 780,000 has been sequestered, and rather than it be absorbed, it is being passed on to the taxpayers. And the committee may not feel that way, but nevertheless, that's my motion. So again, this is a motion for a final vote on the recommended budget in the amount of $38,918 less than requested. Thank you.
Second.
I recuse from this vote.
Discussion.
You're recusing. This 38,000, Mr. Rarick, if you would indulge, please, that was out of the Title I, so that's what the special ed,
Well, it's out of our total, as Mr. Amorani's mentioned.
yeah, the total.
It's out of all three. So we have not gotten any direction from RIDE because they have not received any direction from the federal government as to how Title I, Title II, and IDA would be impacted.
Would be affected, okay.
Right, so we just know that we'd be less that money. And again, as I said last night, those funds help us maintain, because our whole budget is predicated on maintaining our current level of program.
For the general population of the schools, or just that particular?
Well, part of it would be for special education. Some of those funds go to economically disadvantaged students as well. But the lion's
So those
share-
who need it the most are
Right,
going to
the
get the
lion's-
cut?
There are,
Thank you.
a good portion of those funds address our at-risk population, that's correct.
You know, President Obama said, we all gotta do our part.
Well, the handicapped and the underprivileged are taking the whack on it.
Let's not be
No, I don't
facetious
agree.
here.
Oh, I
This is-
definitely don't agree with that.
Okay.
To put this in, try to put it in a simpler context, this represents $38,000 out of a $28,729,000 budget. That is 0.1%. In terms of somebody getting $1,000 budget, you're telling them you have to live on $998 and $998.70. I believe that, again, that sequestration means you have to reduce spending. And I'm sure within that budget, this money will become available. I'm not going to start getting into the auditor's report, but if you look at the auditor's report for June 30th, 2012, you'll find that there's substantial money that was left at the end of the year, which can't be touched. But nevertheless, I believe that we have excellent money managers within the school department, and they will be able to manage quite well with the 28 million plus, and if necessary, find this tenth of a percent funds to fund any programs that might be affected by sequestration. But it's a philosophical thing. I respect those on the committee that disagree. I just feel that way. Thank you.
When do you know?
It's unknown right now. RIDE does not, they have not given us a timetable as to when we will know, if those cuts go through and where they'll be.
We don't even have our preliminary estimates for federal aid for next year. We're using an estimate of current year.
At a level
That's
funded
typically
number.
what we do each year because of the timeframe of the budget.
Okay.
Yes? Step up. Step up.
I just want to ask, this is a wash, it's like, everyone agreed on the resource officer, and the money was supposed to come from the school budget, because they said they had extra money. And now it looks like, because of sequestration, they're now saying they're short money. So now I'm getting concerned, because we're going to be paying for this police officer, or should that money be for the Title I students? They're now short money. They said they had money, now they're finding out that possible. It's not making any sense to me. And I'm concerned that, in the end, when they don't have any money the following year for this police officer, and I'm not sure what this police officer is supposed to be doing, because the schools are in all different directions. What's that going to mean to the taxpayer? Is this an extra person? Is this, where's the money going to come from if they don't have the extra money that they said they had this year to, for a feel-good thing? Everyone, like, they want this officer. They said they had the extra money. Now they're saying that they're losing money. It's, so what's the deal here? I mean, if they give up the officer, then they have the money for the Title I students.
Mr. Rarick.
Isn't, I mean, wasn't that where the money was coming
Maybe Mr.
from?
Rarick could be brief in helping that.
Well, first of all, the issue is this isn't extra money. The police officer, we had a town meeting, the school committee had a meeting back in December. It was well attended by parents, members of the community, members of the council. And the overriding message that we received was that we need to make our schools as safe as possible as a result of what happened at Sandy Hook.
How's it going to be?
The police chief, without any request from us, when we came back from school break, redid his staffing so that we could have a school resource officer for the rest of this year. The school committee felt that, A, we need that position, that officer, in our schools. Just not for protection, but for a variety of other reasons that we've expounded upon previously. The school committee just determined that we felt that we should help share in the cost. In a lot of communities, the school resource officer is on the town side of the budget, and they pick up all the expense. The school committee felt it was appropriate to share that expense to the tune of 70% of the cost, and that's the $50,400. That's not extra money. That's money that's in addition to our budget. If we didn't have a school resource officer and if we didn't have the sequestration, our request would be to 2.6. But
Increase, yeah.
we need to make up that $38,000 to keep our current level of programming, and we need the police officer to improve our security needs at the schools. So they're new requests, essentially, in our budget. And I believe, from listening to the parents and to the people that came to that meeting, that was something they wanted. And they felt something that we needed to put into our budget, which we did. And that's the brief synopsis of it. And we're also, in the committee, in a related matter, the school committee just voted at the last school committee meeting to pay for overtime that the police department's incurring for the remainder of this year. So the school committee's tried to be, I feel, a very good partner. We work very closely with Chief Leach on this matter, as we are on some other issues. And I think it's a great example of showing how a town can share costs for something that they need. Because the police, they also need, help with the police, with officers.
Okay.
Can I just I just want to say that I'm kind of torn with this sequestration. It is a philosophical argument. Philosophically, I come down on the other side of the philosophical argument, but now I'm hearing that there's so much uncertainty around it. And that's what's bothering me.
Because they could theoretically say the 38,000, and we're using the estimate the Department of Ed gave us, and they said use 5. It could be 10, it could be 15. And they could say, for our example, for discussion purposes, okay, it's all coming out of IDA.
Yes.
So
And that's
that
the special
38,000,
education.
That's special ed, or they could say, take it all out of Title I, which is our economically disadvantaged students. So we don't know where it's going to cut and how it's going to impact. If it was directly Title II, we probably could, try to make something work, but we don't know. We're barely getting by, with the program we have and supporting it.
Okay, I'm going to make this brief statement, that given the amount of work that the school committee did, the number of times they were here discussing their budget with us, all the cuts they made in conversation with us and back in their own conversations, the due diligence that they have done with their budget,
To come up with a total percentage
the
of...
increase of 2.9%.
Including the 11th hour, cutting even more.
Yes.
Found out about a retirement.
Well, and that's a question I have. The paper that just got passed around, the difference between what we have in our docket of 28,757, 739,
That's the
And-
motion we provisionally approved.
and
Right.
28,729, 415, and Jim's,
Should be 425, that's a typo.
no, all right, 425.
Yeah, 425.
What is that difference? Because that's,
That's the 20, oh,
28,314 for
Yeah.
retirement.
so that's the additional retirement
Right.
brought in last night?
right.
Okay, and we did not vote on that provisionally? Okay.
Correct.
Chris, because of the timelines with everything,
Okay.
it came in after the provisional.
My second question, on the sequestration issue. When you did your calculation, what time frame did you use and when are they projecting it to start?
This is for next year.
It's for
This-
calendar,
For the calendar year starting July 1 for us, our fiscal year.
but my understanding is sequestration does not start until October
Right,
1.
because they do their date starts differently, but.
So is the computation figured on 12 months for, 100% for FY '14, even though it will start in October?
Yes,
So it could be slightly different?
could be, but that's what we do about it.
And if there are a number of programs, because I'm dealing with justice on the same thing, where they're saying maybe the justice cuts are going to stay because they're not as prioritized as some of the other cuts, that the sequestration issue may in fact not be as everybody thinks it's going to be. They may take a lion's share of the military, they may take a lion's share of transportation, they may reprioritize it. What happens if the sequestration does not happen and we've now funded it twice? That's the burning question, I guess.
It would become part of our fund balance.
And go towards the capital items like we're doing this year.
Not necessarily.
Where our money goes, that's correct. Goes to our fund balance and we use it for one-time capital.
It's a toughie.
It is a tough one.
It's a toughie. Could there possibly be some commitment that if sequestration doesn't come in, that the school committee would consider committing that money to future capital expenses? I know, we can't do that. Scratch that.
They would like to, they would look at it and view it favorably, but I can't without having to speak with them.
Never mind.
Okay.
Is a motion on the-
Motion on the floor for, I don't have the sheet.
What's the number?
Yeah.
28,729,000.
No, 28,690,507. The one in bold.
Oh, I'm sorry. 28,690,507.
That's,
It's not 517?
50.
no,
No, because it's 425.
it's 425, Chris.
28,690,507.
Let's just do that math real quick.
Yeah, and what did we provisionally say?
28,729, 425, right? Minus 38,913, right, Jim?
38,918.
Thirty-eight nine eighteen or 38,913?
38, what is
918.
that? 918.
918.
Well, I can't see either. I'm getting old, too.
Approaching 3 minutes till 9:30.
2,816, 28,690,507?
Correct.
Okay, good.
And I just say one last thing. Laura mentioned about the 11th hour. And speaking to some previous point, we've come to the budget committee, I don't even know how many times. And we've talked about this particular issue quite a bit. Had we, and I don't know how the vote's gonna go, but had there been an issue with this sequestration, we would have done some things differently on our side to account for that cut. And now, if it is approved, you know, if it gets approved, it gets approved, we have to, deal with it. But, had we known, we had brought it to everyone's attention, we talked about it, and now, we're at the point of no return.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor
Oh,
of...
who seconded it?
I did.
Oh, okay.
All in favor of 28-690-507, raise your hand.
Jim, Madeline,
You take them?
Joe,
No. Talking about-
3 in favor.
3 in favor, opposed? Okay. All in
Where's
favor
Josh?
of...
Oh,
So the motion
Motion failed.
fails.
motion failed, okay.
I move 28,729,425.
Wait,
Hold on. 28,
729,425.
okay. I've got that one written down.
And that's the provisional minus the 28,314 that was provided last night by the school.
Right.
That's okay.
And you seconded it?
we have a second?
Joe Bento.
Any discussion?
So what happens next year when, anybody who watches the news knows that the federal government is gonna be cutting aid back to the state's gonna cut aid back to the towns.
That's what they say, Joe.
It's coming down.
That's what they say.
When do we start? Do we wait and then have to make drastic cuts, or do we start to reduce the budget
Problem,
now?
the problem is, nobody knows where the cut's gonna go. That's the problem.
It's not hard to figure it out. We only get so much money from the state. We're getting, the state's, what, $3 billion in federal aid? I mean, they're talking pretty significant cuts to the states, which is, is gonna roll back to the towns. Because they ain't gonna cut their own.
So my suggestion would be that this is an item we have to keep an eye on. There's really no alternative to it.
Well, it just seems to me we should be trying to find out.
In deference to the school, as much as, I brought out some very legitimate concerns, but I will say, in all the years that I've ever dealt with them, they have been the most honorable people that I've ever dealt with.
I'm not bringing anything as far
Well,
as integrity into the
if
conversation.
they get,
I'm
if
talking
it's a
to you in
windfall to
numbers
them,
where
I
we're
trust
gonna
that they
be
will
5
do the
years
right
from
thing.
now.
That's,
5 years from now, we may be making some drastic cuts.
we may. But we need to see what Congress is gonna do.
Next year,
It's gonna go over
next year with the library, we'll be making.
I'm not disagreeing, but we need to see what they're doing. We can't, again, if we're gonna act on their behalf, I mean, you might as well run for federal Congress. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
No, I just know what I'm seeing. I mean, it's gonna
Okay,
probably
all in
go
favor
for
of
years.
28-729-425.
Voting for it.
Opposed? 2 opposed.
2 opposed,
For the, panel.
opposed, Jim?
28-729-425.
All others voted
Every time
for
we
it.
do more and more and more and more, then we get less and.
Okay, what do we got left?
Oh, the
At that
roof.
point,
Well, we have all the capital. Can we take a quick break and do the capital?
Yep,
and-
it's
No
9:30.
smoking, there'll be no smoking tonight. No smoking.
Stop!
This is a non-smoking town.
No docket.
Doesn't
Well, no,
look
that
good.
is,
Tete-a-tetes.
no, that's resolution.
Anglophile.
No, it's not something where,
Might be able to get them done tonight.
And then I think we give,
We bang that gavel?
Here's the gavel.
We're back.
where's the guy with the hammer? Come on.
it's called accent circumflex. Look at the guy right there, accent grave, accent grave, accent aigu, accent circumflex. That's why you got, it's like rolling peanuts.
Okay, we're back in session. Here we go. Laura, what do we got?
We have capital,
Capital?
non-recurring major expenditures. We have 2 new defibrillators, replace air packs and air bottles, replace half roof on Station 2.
I think the only issue is the roof.
Okay.
Is that, I think the provisional votes are fine, and I would ask that we hear from, Bobby said last night he would get us quotes on, to do the whole roof, and it would be stripped, so defer to Bobby at this point.
I'm here to make that proposal tonight. I am very, very comfortable, $25,000 to do the whole roof. That is strip the roof, put all the flashing that it needs and everything else that it needs, the ice and water shield, the whole 9 yards, $25,000. 25,000.
Do you have a written estimate of that?
No, I don't, but I could get them. It's gonna go out to bid, it has to go out to bid anyway.
Two estimates, and I sold it for, what, 30?
Well, I will do it for $25,000, and I just made the comment to Mr. Gonzalo that if it comes over $25,000, I will personally pay for the difference. That's how confident I am. And it's on TV, you're recording.
More ways than one.
No, I've gotten several estimates, I've measured the roof myself personally, I know how many squares, I know what it takes. I'm very comfortable with
The
$25,000.
vision was 20,000.
21. To do half.
We're gonna move to 21,000 to do the half. I think we can get away with doing half this year and doing half next year.
I can do the whole roof for $25,000.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
I'd like to see the,
I'd like to see the
something
estimates,
written
because I saw
before.
estimates that were in the 30s.
I'll tell you what you do, put it out to bid. You're not gonna get estimates, I'm not gonna bother people to waste their time when it's gotta go out to bid. It has to go out to bid no matter what you do.
Well, this guy's been.
So if you put out the $25,000, I will write the specs, it will go out to bid. If it's over the $25,000, I will pay for it. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, okay? Anybody else wanna step
I'll
up to the
second.
plate?
Thank you.
I moved the number.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, but we don't know if it's accurate.
I'll move the question.
21,000?
I already made the motion for 21.
I second
Okay.
it.
All right, seconded.
You going for half a roof, but,
No, just stop the yakking back and forth.
oh, then you're moving the
We're
questions
moving the
back on
question.
into
Well, just stop it.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
I love Alex.
So, we have a motion at $21,000.
For the half a
the
roof
half
on
a
Station
roof.
2.
All in favor of $21,000? Raise your hand.
Are you taking it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, can I?
6 to
okay.
5, motion passes.
There was another issue that came up last night.
You need to move the, on capital?
Yes. There was another issue that came up last night that I just want to clarify with the town administrator, Mr. Gonzalo.
On capital?
On capital,
Which item?
the gas fuel metering system,
That's not on the budget for this year, though.
he had it requested, it was approved early, I mean, he had it requested, he had it recommended.
And my understanding is they're gonna pay for out this year's monies.
That's what I want to check and make sure.
But that's not on this docket. That's, you can ask them, but that's not
Okay.
something we're waiting for a vote here. Because otherwise, it's moved the bottom line, 435,045 for capital, and call it a day.
So no one would consider putting that in if he's not going to pay for it this year?
No.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
No,
You
no,
got a
no,
motion
no,
and
don't know
a
what that is.
second?
It's not on the docket.
Put a fire truck in when I say no.
Not if it's not on.
Okay, so we had a motion for 435,045.
Joe,
No, oh, and the recurring major time finance payments too? Okay.
yeah, motion in a second?
We had a motion and a second. 435,045.
No second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Where is she?
It's unanimous.
Unanimous.
Got it.
Got it?
Okay.
Not me. No, Joe Bento, Joe.
Did you ask?
Yes, we were gonna do bottom line.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's what we suggested.
Yep.
Bottom line of what?
We're pretty much,
The whole budget.
We have to do revenues, we have to do.
435,
Oh, but I mean, as far as the-
21,000 for half a roof, 435,
I mean, as far as the budget, what else we got left in the
We
budget?
have to do the revenues.
No, but I mean, the expenditure side.
Expenses, that's it, we're done.
No, wasn't there the,
Yeah, he's gonna pay.
I don't know.
what was
Yeah, I
that
got the-
Nancy came up with?
The bottom line.
The bottom
We need to
line.
vote on the bottom line.
So do you have a number yet on the spreadsheet? Is it 47,149,305?
Correct.
So moved.
47,
$47,149,305.
Second.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
149.
305.
305. All in favor? Keep your hands up, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Opposed? 2 opposed.
47, 149, 305.
Laura and Joanne.
Final, bottom,
It's right there.
Bottom page 19.
oh, it's not the final last page. I don't.
It's the
47.
total,
General fund.
it's the total expenditures. It would be,
Page,
something like 20 or something like that?
19.
just what, 19? Page 19.
Yep, page 19.
What is the 47, 177?
That's me checking.
Oh, okay, so it's the 47, 149, 305. We just voted on that. Okay, I got you. I understand.
Okay, moving on.
Revenue, do we have to vote revenues?
Yes, we do.
Is the provisional vote for $49,694,339 for non-tax revenue? Already been done?
Yes, we
Well,
did
the-
provisional votes.
Provisional votes.
Do we have any additional revenues? that we're
The
aware
o-
of?
the only thing was to double-check with the school on the Fall River tuitions, and the answer back was that the 100,000 was okay.
So I'd move $9,684,339.
Let me just,
Page, please.
Page 11, well, it was in the back, page 11.
I-1, I guess.
Or I1 or 11.
Right after page 22.
Right after the last page
Before
of the
I-
document.
I just want to double-check, make sure that no one is...
9684,339.
No one has gotten any, these state funding sources numbers are, for the most part, from the governor's budget. No one has gotten any new numbers. I mean, that's it, right? I printed those off, and I checked them.
Right, this is what you sent out.
No, I didn't send them out. I printed them off the other day. I looked them up and checked them.
Okay.
I've got the printouts.
You don't know any real ones until June 30th.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor of 9684,339, raise your hand. Unanimous.
Yeah, I'll do a second. No, I made the motion.
You made the motion.
Yeah.
Who was the second?
Somebody made a second. Was it Joe? I mean, Dave. Joe Bender.
Joe Bender, okay.
I'd move motor vehicle levy at 1 million.
Well, wait, can we do that on the, I was just going to do the big reveal, and we can do the motor vehicle and the tax on the first page?
Do a total?
I don't care. I don't care.
The reveal. Ta!
Drum roll.
What's the reveal mean?
All right,
Review.
this is where we stand.
Our tax increase is what, 2.9?
We got revised numbers that I took the liberty of putting in that the Budget Committee should know about. I copied you, Dave, on the email that we received,
Yep.
which I honestly can't find at the minute, so it's a good thing I put the real numbers in there. The motor vehicle tax levy was reduced to $1,409,000.
Well, that's because Alex didn't buy that new truck like he's been
That's
saying
right.
he's gonna be doing.
God darn it!
One.
I'm gonna register in Massachusetts.
Say that again, please.
Yeah, can you say that again and talk into the mic this
I'm gonna
time?
register in Massachusetts.
1,409,000 for motor vehicle levy, and the total value of the town real and tangible property, $1,864,500,000.
So, do we need a motion to decrease the motor vehicle revenue to 1,409,000?
I would say we need a motion to approve the motor vehicle tax levy, a motion to approve the abatements.
I move that we approve the abatements at 55,000 the motor vehicle revenue for tax levy, 1,409,000, and that the town's real property value be increased to 1,864,500 for taxation purposes for this docket.
I'll second.
Okay, let's make sure we have those numbers. 1,000,000.
26,400.
864 500 000. And the other one was
1,409,000 for motor vehicle tax,
right.
and then
So this
55,000
is
for
one-
payments.
We had that one.
4,
If I make a motion, anybody over 70 don't pay no tax.
Go for it.
and this one is,
That's the town's budget.
Okay, motion was made, was seconded. Any discussion?
The second was
Was it Jim?
two of us, Joe and Jim.
Joe and Jim. Yeah. All in favor? Against?
Unanimous.
Unanimous?
Oh, no, I'm
No, it's
sorry.
not.
Two against.
Two again, I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, I voted in favor of it.
No, Jim and Madeline.
Madeline voted no.
You
No, I
vote-
voted for it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
let's
then
vote for
maybe
it.
you
Yeah.
want to do the vote again?
Do the vote again. All in favor?
Yeah, was that
It was unanimous.
Unanimous.
Are there any opposed? So that gives us a tax rate of 1945?
It's an estimated tax rate of $19.37,
37?
which would be an estimated increase over last year's actual property tax of 1.99, or 2%.
I like the 199 better.
I like the 199 better,
Right
too.
in there.
Jim?
You watch those decimals and the pennies take care of themselves.
Pretty good.
If I could just make a comment.
Sure.
I think the tax rate, as calculated, would be 19.37, and then some other numbers. If we don't round it up, then we won't get enough revenue.
It's not a given. We did discuss the penny rounding. It's not so much rounding the tax rate. What you would have to do is you would have to put something extra into the uncollectibles to account for the 15,000. What happens after the FTR, the town value continues to be adjusted, right? You come to the end or the middle of June, whenever that cutoff date is, and they go and they calculate the tax rate. We set a maximum property tax levy at the financial town referendum, right? When that property tax rate is calculated, if that comes out to be $19.374 or 376, we lose, there's a possibility of losing 15,000 in funding. Now, if you want to do that and calculate it, Dave Robert and I talked about it. The best way to do it is to add 15,000 to the uncollectibles.
That's his recommendation.
Just to be careful.
Okay.
But it's not straightforward. I mean, it's hard to explain. It is not transparent. It's 15,000, given that our revenue estimates everything in here is an estimate.
I remember him explaining that, I think a couple of years ago, but I think we should just try maybe to follow his recommendation.
So the current tax rate is $18.99?
$18.99.
Is it?
Let me just see, Jim, how that, 19,368. So it's going to round up. So it shouldn't be a problem,
So it's about a 76.
right?
To 37?
Right. It's going to round up to
The
3.7.
way Dave Robert and I calculated it this morning, it was 19.37, something, 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 something.
It's the third decimal that makes the difference. Was it 374 or was it 376?
I don't remember what.
If I remember, well, here, let's do it.
Yeah, but what budget did you use this morning?
If I say
We've
19,
made changes since this morning.
It was 1890 that we submitted last year.
if I take the tax rate,
99, yeah. So that's why it went up.
Chris, would you just help me out with the math here? If I take the tax rate times the total tax value, right?
And,
That, and then I take it, divide it by 1,000,
yeah,
that should come out with the total levy, correct?
Okay.
well, it should come out, yeah, 361.
Nice bars you get there.
Oh, be quiet. That's the levy. Up, NA, can't pay it.
Yeah, it's fine. You're off 60 cents.
So it's, yeah, 36,110,965.
About the pennies.
Yeah.
Oh, now that I'm looking at it, you're using a new budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I just have my notes from this morning.
That's right.
So that's about
Obviously, you didn't have your cuts in.
that comes out to about a $95 increase on a $250,000 house.
I think that's reasonable.
Well, if you calculate the tax rate out, the point is, it's not that your numbers, what your numbers were. The point is that if you take the tax rate out to 3 decimal places and you multiply it by the total town value, you come up with a total tax levy. So Dave Roberts' calculation is going to come up with a total tax levy that is less than the maximum that will be on the ballot.
Okay.
So we don't have to worry about the penny rounding this year.
Okay.
Okay.
And now I'm on tape saying that. I'm not paying the difference if it doesn't come out.
Come on. If there's a difference, we just blame Dave anyhow.
Talk to Bobby Martin, he'll pay for it. Bob Martin will pay for it.
Yeah, we can edit the tape.
All right, let's, okay.
Now, where are we with resolutions as far as last year's? Do we need to copy any of them? Do we need to do any of that? Or do we just-
We have 5 of them, right?
Did we?
Yes.
Do we have a sheet? Resolve number 1.
She sent it to
yeah, that's right. Here we go.
by way of email.
Excuse me?
Do you have?
I got it from,
I have no,
printed
this
it
is my only
off.
copy I have.
Want to make some?
We definitely need some. I need a copy.
Make a vote.
I have it right here.
I need one.
Oh, 10, I guess.
Make a half a dozen.
Oh, they might- they
I
might-
got one on my computer here. I gotta spit out.
Nobody would believe you.
Almost done.
Does anybody know if the council is definitely going to put the resolve on for the sale of the school?
Yes, it's on Monday night's agenda. I mean, they haven't voted, but it is on Monday night's agenda, as well as the resolve to, for the quarterly payments, which is state law anyway, but the solicitors changed the resolve to take out the date, so now it'll be forever.
Can I just show this page while we're waiting? Because I do expect to get approval from the Budget Committee for the rest of the information that's in this docket. This is not my publication, this is the Budget
I would-
Committee's.
It would be my motion, and I don't know what Jim is, but it'd be my.
Come on!
Wow, I just nominating you to take care of it all. That we give Laura and Jim, Dave Perry, the authority to, latitude to ensure that the docket is put together appropriately.
Second.
Boy, is that nice out.
All in favor? Against, Laura?
Yes.
You've been outruled again.
It's unanimous.
I thought you did. Approval.
No, we didn't.
I want other people's eyes
Jim?
on it and
they need
reviewing
one over here.
it and giving me feedback on it.
Email it out and
But we'll give Jim.
Well, we can thank you. Now, I got a comment, Bill Rarick, superintendent, talked about it at the meeting last night. He wasn't sure if the SRO was clear enough. There are a lot of pages in here. I redid the history. I mentioned that when I emailed it out. I updated the history and I put it at the back. This is not my docket. This is the Budget Committee's docket.
I think we just voted that.
Okay, then.
No, it's our
The
docket.
footnote.
You need another cigarette?
Can I see the resolution?
Yeah, I probably do.
Oh, they're up there.
I'm staying quite a ways.
Okay, sorry.
Do we get copies?
Did you get copies? Jim, did you have any more?
All right. Here, it's up on the screen. I've got it on the screen.
Who wants a copy?
I think Josh did. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Jim.
I move resolution 1.
Second?
Any discussion?
All in favor?
That's good.
I move resolution 2.
Second?
Any
Well,
discussion?
let's read it, hold on. Discussion? All in favor? Yeah.
Second, Ms. Joe again.
Resolution 3, all I did with Resolution 3 is take last year's, strike out where it says, where it refers to a new, and put in the. And I thought the for revaluation was a little extraneous, so I took it out.
Okay.
I say move it as amended by Laura.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous?
Number 4 creates the new elections restricted account, and it's the same wording, except the redundancy that we use.
I move resolution 4.
Second?
Everyone has read it?
Still reading it.
Thank you. I'm glad that someone's reading it.
We're reading it.
Okay,
We're not being loud about it.
okay.
We talked about it.
Any
so.
discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Unanimous? Resolved?
All right, the last one is the carry forward resolution that we had on last year.
It's
And-
just a
General fund.
DPW though, right?
Right, and in our discussion a couple of weeks ago, there were 2 concerns. One being that it wasn't specific, it could be clarified to, so that it really referenced the Public Works Operation Department, so that there wasn't any confusion in the future that, no, it doesn't mean that monies from the landfill or stormwater can be transferred in. Those monies have to go back. All it is the DPW operating account. There was that question, then the other question was, leaving aside the clarification, was when it was approved last year by the voters, do we have to keep doing it every year? Or was it that, because it says, any unencumbered funds as of June 30th, 2013, that means anything after that date cannot be carried forward unless it's Public Works.
Then I say we leave it alone.
And so the question is, do we need to have clarification? And A or B, do we have to put it back on every year? I asked Nancy Mello to check with Mr. Tights about the timing. Do we have to keep putting it on every year? And his response was no, right?
Right, and he repeated it again yesterday. He says until something goes on that changes that, it stays in effect.
Oh.
So as far as, for the, from then on, unless you went back and somebody went back and put a resolution that said you can start doing it, you cannot. So
I say leave it
he
alone.
said there's no need to put that on year after year.
You're dating it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
me?
No.
the date is there,
The
June
date,
30th,
the date is beginning.
2013.
There's no sunset.
So there's no sunset, and he said
Oh,
there's no
okay.
need to put it on. I mean, unless you're trying to clarify something.
In the year 2025, you'd be looking at this.
Yeah, but what you're saying is unencumbered funds as of June 30th, 2013 or 2014.
No.
No.
No, I have 2014 with a question mark. Do we have to put that in instead?
Nancy's saying no.
And Nancy's saying no.
No.
Ask the solicitor.
If you take the date out, you're okay.
Yeah.
We don't even have to put it on.
Okay.
We don't have to put it in.
No,
We don't have to put the resolution on the ballot.
It should be removed.
I agree.
Okay.
Because,
I think it'd
because
be a lot less confusing.
I agree.
Take a motion.
Last year's resolution was the starting point.
Right.
So from then on,
For
it
that to
goes that way.
continue.
Okay.
Unless you're gonna change it for
Right.
some
Right.
reason.
We need a
So if
motion.
somebody wants to reverse that policy, they can put a resolution on. Otherwise, it stands
Right.
As is.
into eternity.
Do you want me to have him give you something in writing on that effect, or?
Well,
Yes.
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 I was gonna say,
Because he discussed it with me, and then he discussed it with Jim and I yesterday,
Okay.
and that was his response.
So we need a motion to take it off?
Well, I don't,
We just leave it alone. Just take it off.
we probably need a motion, well, we don't need,
No, it shouldn't even be there.
no, just exit out.
It-
Delete,
If
Laura,
you,
do you have how that was written last year?
yeah, it's right here.
no, it's in the docket.
Last year it read, resolved with respect to any unencumbered funds as of June 30th, with the exception of DPW.
Operational
Will
funds.
be permitted to be used solely for future paving.
All said funds will be returned to the general fund.
All said funds after June, as of June.
All unencumbered funds after June 13 will be returned to the general fund, except DPW operational funds that will be permitted to be used solely for future paving.
Where's the word after?
I switched the,
The grammar.
Just saying, I don't have the
grammatically
exact
correct.
wording from the last year.
what?
That's what I was saying, I didn't have the exact wording.
Well,
from the last
it's
year.
in last year's docket.
All right, but it did say after June.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as it says after June.
I think, Dave, I think the problem with just taking it out is the controlling language is any encumbered funds as of June 30th, 2013. So this resolve does not address any encumbered funds after that date. And if this is not addressed, then somebody will argue, well, this only, and this person is going to go back a couple of dockets and say, look, any encumbered funds as of June 30th, 2013, and these funds were unencumbered on June 30th, 2014, so this resolution, as originally passed, doesn't operate or control any encumbered funds after June 30th, 2013. If you really think about it.
That's what we asked the solicitor, and he said that.
Well, I respectfully don't agree with him.
So,
I say you've got to put in, I think you've got to do the
now-
year.
Now that I'm reading the thing, I don't think you have to do it every year. I think all you have to do is just do it one more time.
All right.
And you put resolved,
Just take the date
resolved
out.
that any unencumbered funds as of June 30th,
Okay, no year?
with the exception, with no year.
That's
Because it's
okay.
June 30th of
That's
any
good.
year.
All right.
With the exception of Public Works, which clarifies it's Public Works now, it's not just DPW.
Public Works Department Operations, I used the
think
line
all
right
that's-
from the docket.
Yep, Department of Funds that will be permitted, that way, yeah, you're right. And just, funds that will be permitted to be used solely for the future paving, all said funds will be returned to the general fund.
Take
So
out the
moved.
year. I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that makes it confusing.
I'm trying to tell you, that year
In clarifying it, but he said we did not, unless somebody changed it to go back. You have the exact wording.
He can write an opinion,
We got-
Yeah.
but it's kind of hard to get around the year. Because it does say that any funds as of June 30th, 2013. So you're not going to encumber funds in 2015 as of June 30th to 2013.
That's my
Can't do
point.
it.
That's my point.
So
Right,
you wouldn't have the year.
right.
Yeah,
Why
just-
wouldn't you say after?
Because you have to encumber them before.
Yeah,
You don't encumber them after.
yeah. They
Oh.
have to be encumbered.
I mean,
before it's-
Huh?
there has to be a document in the treasurer's office encumbering those funds
I know.
on or before June 30th.
So we're leaving it.
Is it worth putting in
With the
after?
exception of the,
Can you say unencumbered funds as of June 30th, 2014?
No, you don't want the
And-
year at all.
Can you let me finish?
Sure.
Any unencumbered, and you'll have to, interpret my language. Any unencumbered funds as of June 30th, 2014, and any leftover after that forever? mean, it's the after that I'm trying to get in.
Infinity and beyond.
Because in an audit context, you have to have either.
No, yeah, I know
But
that.
there's nothing after. Either you have spent it, you've encumbered it, or it's free.
Oh, I get your drift. Okay, okay.
Right, it's
Okay.
the end of the year. Yeah, either it's been
It has to
spent,
be spent.
it's been encumbered, or it's available. It's,
To be swept.
Of any given year?
That's, Nancy's picking up my drift. Of any given year.
Or of any fiscal year, something like that?
You're saying June 30th, so.
As
look
of
at-
June 30th,
So
as
the
of June
meeting-
30th in future fiscal years?
all right, the only other clarifier you could go is that resolve that any unencumbered funds as of the end of any fiscal year.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go, that's it.
I knew I brought him along for something.
As of
Everyone's a
any,
lawyer.
The end of.
as of the end of any
And we
fiscal
won't have to put it on again next year.
There you
year.
go, it's good forever.
It's good forever.
Or
Okay.
until someone comes with a resolution
To change it.
Now you
There you
can
go.
leave it like this.
All right. so
Forever
there-
and beyond.
There it looks on the screen. Can you see the screen?
So moved.
Wait,
That any incumbent funds as of the end of any
I moved
fiscal
it,
year.
and Alex seconded it. There you go.
Okay, we got a motion second?
Yep. Alex seconded.
All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, we're not done yet. I have a resolution.
Okay.
I don't have it in writing, so you have to just be patient with me. It's long-winded, I didn't write it. We, the assembled voters, and I don't know if you have to do all this, I think it just has to say resolved, that the voters of the town of Tiverton hereby approve the establishment of an apparatus replacement fund for the purpose of offsetting the cost of or outright purchase of rescue or fire apparatus for the town of Tiverton. The fund shall be placed in a restricted account solely for this intended purpose and shall remain in this account until used for this purpose. The funds for this account shall be derived from those funds received from the third-party billing monies in excess of $405,000. The release of these funds from the restricted account shall be authorized by the Tiverton Town Council for the sole purpose of replacing fire and rescue apparatus for the fire department. That's, I'm just,
A second.
Discussion?
105 per year.
yeah, that's basically what now is we've collected that much and it goes in the general fund to offset whatever the
That's setting
operation.
a dangerous precedent. I can't support that motion.
It's okay.
What about the harbor master?
It's,
with the
you know, the
mooring
harbor master
fees?
give the town $400-some thousand before we take anything away
Well,
from
we
them?
can't start doing this.
Well,
If it's general, if it's for capital improvements for the entire town, I'd support it, but not for a particular department.
Well, this way here, we can go out, we can buy a rescue truck, cash, without paying finance charges.
Would that violate the charter that says all revenue goes into the?
General fund,
Unless you so restrict it.
it doesn't say unless you so.
Yeah, you're restricting it. Yeah, you're restricting it.
I don't remember that in there. That's what it says in there.
You gotta listen, you gotta unplug those little ears of yours.
I don't remember reading that in the charter.
I don't remember.
This isn't the
that
charter, this is a resolution.
what would be different?
It's setting monies in a restricted fund.
But it's using revenue funds. I say set it up.
I'm just saying, what, as far as a restricted account would be a similar.
All right. This is a bugaboo of mine, and I have looked up this section enough that I turned right to it. All fees, penalties, payments, and miscellaneous sources of revenue, including but not limited to vending machines, copy machines, and recreational activities collected by town officials or agencies in their official capacities shall be transmitted to the town treasury to be deposited in the general funds of the town.
That's true, but this resolution would usurp that for this particular
What
purpose.
about bag money?
I'm not arguing a legal point. I mean, I believe you when you say a resolution could usurp that. I think there are others that might say, no, it doesn't. What my point is that I'm agreeing with Mr. Amarantes, that it sets a really bad precedent to have departments funding whatever out of their own revenue. I think it, and I'm going to say it again, If that was the case, Nancy would have 40 clerks in the office, and Gareth Ames would have 30 building inspectors working with him, and we'd have no police. So that's, that's just, it's not the way the town works, and I agree that it would be a dangerous precedent. That said, if the committee approves it, you're going to have to reconsider the revenues you just approved, because you just approved 435,000 in the billings. So that would have to be
I'm just putting it forward, it
reconsidered.
could be amended, that's not,
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, that's just a technical.
Then would really be a high percentage.
you can make it 450, I don't care what you do with it. but-
Well, I see the merit, I look at this, I'm looking at, as I said, I'm looking at the landfill account with bag monies going into that, so it's going for a desired purpose. Fire trucks are very expensive vehicles,
Yes.
so any money that we can, save up front. But I think for this year, maybe we better look at a mechanism, so I'm not gonna vote for the resolve this year, but I think this year we should look at a mechanism that's gonna fit, because I think it's a good idea to start. And, when we're talking about making these purchases, I said it with the DPW, when we wanna buy that new truck. I go into Swapper Mags and I see for like half the price, the trucks might have, 50,000, 60,000 miles on them. But the same truck we wanna pay, 150,000 for, I'm looking for at 89. But we'd have to do basically what Mr. Bolin, when he was chairman of the council, did, was we'd have to give the council the money and the authority to make the purchase, rather than go out to bid. So, that's something I think we need to look at, because we're wasting a lot of money. You go out to bid, you put an ad in the Fall River Herald, it seems like the only person, Fall River Ford responds, that's it, you know what I'm saying? You get out of this area, you get up on the Tiverton Mile, I see hundreds and hundreds of trucks up there for good, for the half of what we're paying.
Well, quite frankly, just so that, the fact that you put something on the paper for bid purposes,
Yeah.
it's not the end all. It really should be, if somebody's looking for a particular, it has to be a particular vehicle, but, they should be sending something out to the dealers. That's what I do. I send them out to 9 dealers. I go to GMC, I go to 6 of them.
Yeah.
I let them know something's coming out to bid. And
I'm sure
it's
that's
not just what's in the
being
paper.
done by fax or whatever
Yeah.
mechanism they use.
Well,
I don't think you'd find any disagreement on this committee that we need to start some kind of capital equipment fund.
And I think that's what this is, quite frankly, maybe we send this to the council and let them look at it and do
It's-
something, but it's.
that's my sentiments. I think I think there is a
I was asked to bring it
mechanism.
up, so, and I'm, I'm
It's not
represent
that-
constituents in this town, and
I just think the mechanism is the department heads going before the town council and presenting their budget, and the town council, in discussions with the town administrator, makes a decision and sends a requested budget to us. I think there is a mechanism there.
I'm fine with it.
Maybe it's time for the town council to address.
The only saving grace in this thing that I was
Capital fund, but I
very
don't know if we
confident
should
with is
do
that the
this
town
at
council
the
actually
last
makes the
minute.
decision. So
Last
that's,
minute is, yeah. Well, we did discuss it a little bit, but yes.
Okay, so we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
oh, I would be in favor, it would obviously have to be amended again, but
Opposed?
it's okay.
I would suggest, though, that at the beginning of next budget season, before we get too busy, that we bring this issue up early in the season and try
Well,
to...
what I'll probably do is send a copy of this to the council now, just so they can
Yeah,
start
that
to
makes
take a look.
more
Yes.
sense.
We need to look at our purchasing for that.
We do. I'm not-
Well, at least,
And it's been an issue for a long time. It's-
I just hate paying those finance charges.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
well, we'll work on it, Alex. We probably
Well-
have something prepared for next budget season.
maybe there's a way to cut the revenues, get a total of the revenues, and then say, cut it off, and anything over that,
Yeah, it goes into that.
Were there
Or
any,
why not just be transparent and budget for an equipment fund?
were there any other resolutions that need to be?
The only other one was the future needs, and I don't know if anyone would
I have
would
bit off
done
more
with
than I can
that.
chew.
We just changed the language on the line item.
Yeah.
We didn't use the word restricted, so,
I didn't hear anything, I don't have
and
any.
that was approved, that.
The only, oh, I know what it was. This is presentation. And this, I think we do need to look at, because this gets to what our discussion on, this is why I had pension highlighted.
But it's all, We don't look ahead. Mr. Chairman, can I
You
bring
know,
something
we've
up?
made resolves that.
Hey, what?
Just for the good of the order here?
Sure.
Like
You know,
we said,
you said before,
we've been advised they won't use it, but we-
there's ways to save money.
the money has to go back from the school fund.
If we had a fund that you had money in, this fund here that we just talked about,
Maybe this could work.
they're selling a ladder truck in Coventry, tower ladder.
Oh, yes, they are.
And everybody's standing in line, that's got money in their pocket to go buy it for half the price.
I just said that earlier.
Right.
We don't have no way, no mechanism to do that. Everybody here is a crook.
Did you hear the cost on
If
that?
there's any
truck,
money
Daniel?
left over, somebody's gonna steal it.
It was $90,000 a year just to maintain that truck.
Huh?
That's what they said.
Who
Maybe
said that?
included the crew, I don't know.
No.
Raptakis, I guess is the representative out there, was talking about it.
That's where you get the bargains. They got two
Two first-run pumps.
two first-run pumps for ours, like we just paid 500,000 for. And they got a brand-new tower ladder.
What's the maintenance contract on something like that annually, a tower truck?
More than a regular truck.
No more than regular.
Needs to be certified.
I know. I really need some, I really need the committee's input on this.
Not really, no, what?
Okay. Maura, what do we have?
On the police pension, if you'll remember, we had quite a discussion about the two line items, whether or not the two line items should appear. That night, when it was approved to increase it by 100,000, I had this little debate with myself on where to put it and how to present it. So this is what I ended up doing. I changed the language on the left-hand side from pension plan police and pension plan police unfunded liability to retired officers and active officers. Then, for lack of anything else, I stuffed 100,000 in the active officers. Now, the reason why I bring this up, and I'm going to say it again, there is nothing, no audit trail, no documentation, no substantiation. There is no piece of paper you can pull up and say, this is where the town administrator's 365 came from, although Jim did do a calculation off of a present value number. There is nowhere to come up with the 465,000.
Because it's all one account.
It is all one account, and that total sum is transferred to the plan administrator, and it's the plan administrator that pays it out. This is the point, if you think back to last night, when I passed out the audit page, and it said that we spent and paid out in fiscal year 12, $755,000. Now, if I'm a taxpayer, if I'm a regular Joe, and I pick up that
No pun
audit,
intended.
and I compare it to the docket, I'm gonna go, wait a minute. What's up with that? So that is my argument for having one line item for the police pension.
But if I was a retired officer, I'd look at that and say, why aren't I getting any of that 100,000? I'm just-
Actually, I think that's where it should go myself, but.
Yeah, the unfunded, the retired.
I'd like-
That's-
I
Yeah, we
still-
could
Retired
switch
is
it.
unfunded,
Yeah, we could switch it,
because of the people that are working now are funding theirs
They're
going forward.
fun- yeah.
but either way, it's a made-up number. It's not a,
No, isn't it?
I mean, it's not a totally made-up number, but no one is gonna be able
I gotta figure out
to
where it is.
find confirmation for that. If someone asks the question, what was the actual, payment, you pull
Don't
out
see
the
law.
It
pension
should
and
be
you
part of the
say,
ARC projection and all that.
well, it is, but it's not, that 365,048 does come from the actuarial report, but Jim adjusted it because he added in the 25,000. So he upped that number. But even that number comes from this obscure actuarial report that, with titles that only an actuary understands. Excuse me. So, for me personally, I find it misleading. Unless, a better way can be suggested. Maybe it's a percentage, maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I know there's history to it, and there's a reason why it was put there to begin with.
Well, everything in the ARC is a number, it's not necessarily a percent. I mean, it gets you to a percentage.
Right.
Of whatever the state wants, that number that they came up with, but all your ARC numbers are fixed numbers to get to different points in the ARC.
Right, it's the normal cost. I believe that, Jim, are you here?
He's just went to get his
Just went to get his
paperwork.
book.
He's going
He's
on.
getting his book on.
I have in my notes here, Jim, that you adjusted the total normal cost to $359,952.
First of all, let me say that, the actuarial report doesn't really define it as active and retired.
Yeah, I know.
I think the wording that was there before was more appropriate. But now, looking at the actuarial
Well,
report...
wait. Why?
I'm sorry?
Why is it more appropriate?
More appropriate.
That's what I'm about to explain.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
If you look at the actuarial report,
Yeah.
page 3,
Yeah,
all right, it says that there's a normal cost,
right,
there is amortization of unfunded liability,
right,
interest on middle of the fiscal, interest to middle of the fiscal year,
right.
and then it gives you your total computed contribution minus the member contribution for your ARC. Okay. Now, what I did was I took the normal cost and I added to it the interest, which would be, you guys don't have that actuarial report, I guess, in front of you, but I took the normal cost and I added to it the interest.
The interest,
Interest to middle of fiscal year.
okay, so you took the 41,203 and added it to 318,749
Exactly,
and came up with the 359,952.
right. And then I said the rest of it is unfunded liability. Because that's where our biggest issue is the unfunded liability at this point.
And the unfunded liability not meaning necessarily currently retired officers,
No,
and not necessarily meaning
not active.
future retired officers.
Right,
Unfunded
this is-
liability meaning,
Are, as of July 1st, June 30th, whichever, okay, we needed to make a payment of $590,000. But we decided that we would put in 7.25. The reason why we did that was to help the unfunded liability. So if you're going to add $100,000 to it,
so the unfunded
my
liability.
suggestion would be that you add it to the unfunded liability, because isn't that really why you're adding
That's
it?
exactly where we're at.
Exactly.
So, I guess I'm getting confused on the language though, Jim, because I don't, what is pension plan police then? What is the 359,962?
That's what they determine as being the normal cost.
And how is, okay,
I don't know how they calculate that normal
no,
cost, but...
I'm sorry, Z, if everyone is sick of this and I'm the only one that's interested, I don't,
She asked.
The most
normal
impor-
cost, that
I'm going for a
portion,
root canal.
normal,
I'm going for a root canal.
And a colonoscopy.
oh God, now you gave me a stitch in my side. Normal cost, that portion of the actuarial present value of planned benefits and expenses allocated to the valuation year. You see what page I'm on, Jim? Page 15. So what that means to me is that's what they're saying is being paid out this year to current retirees. All right. So what should the titles be? If you want to leave it at 2 lines,
I would
okay.
just, whatever they were last year, I would leave it the same as, whatever the docket said last year.
Okay, then where does the 100,000 go?
Put it under the, what were the label?
Unfunded liability.
All right, so that's the same,
That's the third line.
it's the third wave.
Paul Dancerose, a good auditor, he's an CPA, he can sort that out.
Okay.
No.
That's what I said, it's in this picture.
He's in this picture.
Yeah, because I know at one point it wasn't.
No,
He was supposed to, and they didn't fund it. That's,
he was right when he came in, I guess. When he was system.
2 years ago, we said that the pension issue was still.
I believe that's been resolved.
Yeah, that's why I make sure that was taken care of.
Yeah, he's in this picture.
All right,
Okay.
all right.
2 years ago, he told me he wasn't, that's why I was asking.
There was some controversy over it at the time.
Yeah, he wanted to see it in writing, is what his problem.
Can't blame him.
No problem.
All right, did anyone look at the
Wanted
last
to-
2 pages of the docket? Is everyone okay with including the 10-year overview updated? It's last year's.
Yes, absolutely.
Can we make it 11 years instead?
No, there's not enough room.
That's a good reason.
We need 11 by 14.
We need about 11.
All right.
11 rocks thrown out in about 2 minutes.
Here's the general fund levy page. We've got the school department plans to use, 776 of this. The second box, we're way under the maximum levy. And there we are. This spreadsheet is all linked. It all goes. Ba-boom.
That way.
This poor thing looks tired, by the way. Have you noticed?
This poor thing.
Yeah, that's,
This
well,
poor
both,
thing.
yeah, well, no, you're, no,
250 in the
you're in
budget.
great shape. This thing is
All
tired.
right, there's the municipal
There's that
summary.
woman again,
For Laura.
4 o'clock in the morning.
The school, just so that you know, I did run this by, the school page, I did run this by, yes, thank you. In particular, the footnote and the capital expenses on the bottom, and we provisionally approved it. There's the expense summary. So it is now a 2.9% increase on the school with a bottom line municipal increase of 2.7% in expenses. And without the debt, it's now a 3.4% increase in expenses. There's the revenue summary page, Joe, that's what you were asking about.
You have a one that was something else.
State funding sources up 6.8%, I'm sorry, 5.9%. Education funding is up 6.8. Local funding
Do I have
down
to cross it?
0.4.
I can tell it's in my handwriting.
Together, local funding is up 4.2. Non-tax revenue up 4.2.
Those not my numbers.
You got the camera. I'm just going through it.
But I don't know if you want mine with the numbers on it.
And there is the tax.
There it is, right here it is.
The tax summary, and I think we all agreed that we want to show some kind of comparison against last year's actual. Okay. All right, so what I will do is modify this. I'm going to put on the top of it, just for safety's sake, general fund annual budget, final draft. I'll email it out to the budget committee and Nancy. I'll email it out to the budget committee, Nancy, Jim, and the council members who are the budget committee liaisons. And the school committee, thank you. No, I mean, if there are, what happens if somebody comes back with, I ignore it? Use my discretion?
That's
Talk
what we
to
voted on.
Dave.
That's what we,
Between you and Jim, you can.
Me and Dave, Dave and I.
Look, Jim, one more time.
Yes, Sunday. So you guys can all go home. Have a good time. Dave and I will be spending yet more hours on this thing. But that's okay.
Throw it right in there, it's not a problem.
But that's okay. You go right
Didn't
ahead.
you just say that it
why you make the
changes
big bucks.
itself, that when you made all the changes, it just automatically?
Yes, because they're all linked.
So then,
It should be fine.
we're all set.
It should be fine, but, you know,
Just gotta double check it.
Believe
We
me,
gotta
there-
double
there
check
been-
it.
There've been years I've had grammatical errors, typing
We
errors.
ought to meet Sunday morning.
Yeah,
at
but those
5
were the
o'clock.
years, that, you know, like, you could meet like an hour before the financial town meeting to
No,
fix
can't do that no more.
no, you can't meet an hour before the financial town
That's
meeting.
right.
Yeah, but the only changes I would
Where are you taking it?
anticipate were
Lions Club.
Do we know what
the last minute changes by Dave Robert, which are required to do with the value of the town, which could change
Where are you
between
taking
now
it for
and
dinner?
then.
Well, he sent us that today. He sent us that today.
But
That ain't no
he
good.
still takes a last look at it, as you know.
Yes, but it can't be changed on anybody's ballot. He changes it till
I'm
June.
talking
I
about,
think we were gonna have the budget meeting.
Oh, yes. Yes.
but I'm also saying that even after the FTR,
Yes.
Yeah,
he
Brother
may
JP.
very well change the value. I think he should.
well, that's what happened last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Adjusted the tax.
So what's our schedule next?
All right, then if we don't need a
I'll see you in
Saturday
April.
meeting, we don't need a Saturday meeting.
I mean,
Just don't cancel it till you've gone through your work.
Okay.
I'm just,
Beyond that, when is the public hearing?
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if we should be able to look at this on Monday and see these same numbers.
Right.
Unless there's some
Unless there's
All
something
right.
that comes up over the
The
weekend.
public
Mistake.
presentation is April 24th.
Okay. Which is a Thursday.
Wednesday, I think, isn't it?
Wednesday,
Yes,
it's a Wednesday.
That will be taped, right?
That will be taped.
That will be taped.
And then,
At the
is
high
there a
school
public
or-
hearing? Or public?
The financial town hearing,
That's May 2nd,
that's May 2nd.
and that's at the school.
I will not be here. for that.
No.
I will not.
Now, the budget committee presentation, I'm going to leave it up to you guys to do. You know, I'll certainly be here and participate, but, you know, that's, I said, I can't be an advocate for this budget, so I'm going to leave it up to you guys to put together what you want to put together.
Okay, so the next meeting's,
April 24th?
what, 24?
Right.
That's here.
Where is it?
Um,
At the school?
No, it's here.
At
the FTR, at the FTA.
FTA
Yeah,
hearing.
H.
That's gonna be a.
At 8 p.m.?
Right,
Right.
and that's on 5,
What time is that meeting?
7?
7
It's
o'clock.
7, okay.
7:30, what is it?
7.
Then I
They
come
didn't put
back.
Buddy Cianci in
Then I come
jail.
back, I go to
Is it
Idaho,
here?
Montana,
It's here.
California.
The 24th is here.
Three.
Yeah, 24th is here, and then the financial town hearing
It's
is
one
at
of both.
the high school.
That's the high school.
With
And that's
whomever
May-
puts in a petition, or, you know.
Fantastic.
And
That
that's
one
May,
is advertised at the high school.
what's the
and all.
date
That's
of that one,
advertised.
May?
May 2nd?
We are
May
just
2nd.
about to
May
adjourn.
2nd.
The high
Yes.
school auditorium.
Can I just say one thing real
It will
quick?
be advertised.
Go ahead, Joe.
To Josh, thank you for
Oh,
doing that job.
Yeah. No, I thank Josh for doing that job.
Oh, and you for helping.
Yeah, thank goodness.
No, I honestly, there's certain things I just can't. And Laura, I just want to say how much we appreciate what you are doing.
You can do it next year, Joe.
Yeah, I don't think I could. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't think I could do what you are doing. You are doing an excellent job, in my
Well, thank you,
opinion. so.
definitely.
I personally
agree.
couldn't do what you did. I have to admit it. I ain't that damn good.
Oh, I could never do that.
More of a
That's
hellraiser.
good.
You're good at other things, Joe.
They're gonna do another.
I just happen to be an Excel queen.
Yeah, well, no.